All right. The pickle break is over. And I saw Kolivar was getting a little bit out of hand, so I thought I'd pop in. No, we didn't miss it. Allie, you did not miss it. Let me just say, first of all, if I can get my buttons in order here. There we go. First of all, Toxic, congratulations and thank you for being first in chat here after the lunch break. Wading in, breaking the ice for everyone else. The water's fine. Once she proved it, everyone else waded in after her. Chat's a wonderful place to be. But with Toxic being first in chat, she has the dubious honor and distinction of winning all things internet related. So the internet now belongs to Toxic Orchid until we go live again, where we will re-gift it to some other lucky person. Thank you very much, Toxic. I know you've had this job before. You're going to do great. You do great over on Discord as well with the as the gavel drops, that amazing Discord page that's just chock full of true crime information. So thank you very much, and congratulations there. Let's see. Good news, great news, as a matter of fact, for me. The cold medicine kicked in, and I'm feeling wonderful. I don't sound quite so stuffy, I think. I'll probably pay for it later as the medicine wears off. But hey, for now, I'll take it. My eyes aren't quite as itchy as they used to be. And it's almost like I'm back to normal. But I might have to change the name. Can I smell the cookies now? I can smell. At least that's a start. Let's see what we have here. I may have to rename this live stream because I thought for sure the jury would be, in and out and be able to have a sentence, but we're still waiting. Let's see. I'm checking all the latest tweets here, and nothing. Nobody has anything. Everyone's going back and doing a replay, basically. They're doing replays of the closing arguments. Law and Crime's replaying the victim impact statements from the Pike case. But we're sitting right now at 3 hours and 15 minutes and 38 seconds that the jury's been deliberating the sentence for Aaron Dean for manslaughter in the death of Atatiana Jefferson. How far do we have to come for a cookie? All the way. But Lori has some as well. She's sharing. So, Ginger, you were not missing it. Not yet. There was some news earlier, right before we broke, that the Amber Heard had settled her case with Johnny Depp and had pledged to pay him $1 million. So now that that's done, we can all rest easy. I think that might slowly fade away from the headlines here over the next few days. Ooh, Kimberly went big. Ordered 2 mango and 2 maple jars of pickles. Love Walmart delivery. You went with both. You'll have to tell me how the mango is. I'm not a huge fan of mango, but the first time I ate it, I ate the peel, and that sort of that turned me off of mangoes for a while. There's a story behind that Mrs. R.A. is really embarrassed about, but it did not taste good. The mango peel was not as yummy as you might think. Mods have the power. Yes, they do. We have some amazing mods here, Kolivar. We really do. They're absolutely incredible. So grateful for every single one of them. We don't have any indication of where. Yeah, Allie's like, I was tricked. Judge reads sentence. I set this up for sure. I'm thinking, well, I'm at lunch. The jury's going to come back, and just so I can catch up on everything, I'm going to put the title in the judge reads sentence. Now I guess in order to not mislead you, I cannot stop this live stream until the judge reads the sentence. So we might go all through the night and continue through tomorrow morning, however long it takes for the jury to reach a conclusion, and have the judge read the sentence. Because I would hate to be accused of the internet felony of mislabeling my live stream. which I believe is a felony. Are you supposed to eat the leaves they cook it in? Hopefully we're not talking about tamales, because those are corn, like the leaves from the corn husk, whatever. Right, Daniel. The jury could have some issues regarding the different options available to them. Basically, the years involved are 2 to 20, but how he spends those 2 to 20 years can vary greatly. It could be as easy or as light as just on probation, where a couple times, a year, for a few hours a year, he has to meet with his probation officer and follow some rules, which I don't think he'll have a problem following. Which would mean that the life for him, in large part, goes on as normal, although he will have the restrictions regarding things he can do as a convicted felon. So, like firearm ownership and certain avenues of employment would not be open to him, including police work. But so there will be some difficulties ahead for him. But on probation, it would probably be a very normal type life, aside from maybe any anger that the public still feels important to make him aware of. Let's see. Nothing yet. So the jury can come back with either probation or a incarceration sentence. Incarceration could be up to 20 years. If they sentence him for any more than 10 years, even if it's just one day above 10 years, then probation is not an option. It has to be less or 10 years or less for probation to be an option. So yeah, it's a little picky that way. We'll see where people are. Clickbait, says Exodus. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. No, he has not been sentenced. Let me change the title. Judge should soon to read sentence. How's that? Judge soon to read sentence for Aaron Dean. Is that better? I think that's closer to the truth. That way we won't have to live stream for 24 hours until whatever it is. What if they come back and say life? Cullivar, the judge will say that wasn't an option. Their paperwork only lets them go up to 20 years. So they're missing that bubble sheet that gives the life option. But if they wanted life, they should have gone for murder, right? Would that be an option on the murder charge? It still implies a verdict reached. I'm hoping there's a verdict reached, Allie. Maybe I need to dial it back a little bit. I don't want to be. I'm not a big fan of clickbait. I don't want to be that guy. Can we get a poll? Let's see. Probation, 2 to 5 or 5 to 10. I've only got 4 options on the poll, and that's the problem. I don't know how to break it down to make it fair, because then everyone's like, well, the one I chose wasn't on the poll. Hey, Karen, congratulations. Chemo port out tomorrow. That is awesome. So happy for you. I think, Abby, what we really are learning from this is that whatever they're feeding the juries there in Texas is really good, because the jury really is in no hurry to get out. They like whatever they're getting. Surprised they're still deliberating? Maybe it's the free Post-it notes. Post-it notes for life. How can you turn that down? Roxanne says, got to close one door and opens another. I got a job working 2 days a week for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Sweet. That sounds awesome. Do you get free rides to and from work? Very fast rides to and from work. That's my question. That's awesome, Roxanne. Happy for you there. Okay, let's see. So Cullivar says, let's see. So those are 3 options. I can do that. So start a poll. So it would be, are these all, I guess, 2 to 8, 8 to 14, 14 to 20. So this does not answer the question of whether or not any of this will be probation or incarceration. But I'll put that poll up just like you wrote it there. Okay. I think the poll's up. I think I spelled everything correctly. Good afternoon, Addicts. Van, good to have you here. Hope everything is going well with you. Could the poll be just less than 10 years or just over 10 years? Yes, I believe they could break it down to the days if they wanted. I don't think they have to divide it up in years. I believe they can get very specific. They're getting 3 Ps. Pulled pork and pickles. See, pulled pork here in North Carolina, we just call that barbecue. And barbecue is a noun, not a verb. Barbecue is what you cook. Barbecue is what you eat, not how you cook it. Yeah, it's Little GH Town. I saw that. They're reinstated the bond for Manuel Mata, and he will be released soon. So by reinstating, I believe they're not raising it any, right? So the judge is now changing his mind and saying, actually, the bond that you had already paid is sufficient. And then you're going to be bonded out again. It's the same bonding out, but now you're sufficient. You've paid up. Abby, I'd like you to vote based on what you think the jury will give. We get a different number when we say what you think they will do versus what you will do. Terry says, went out to grab a coffee, got rear-ended by a 16-year-old driving a non-insured car with only permit. Oh, no. She slammed the rear end of a Cadillac. It looks like an accordion. She was the only one in the car. Oh, no, Terry. That is awful. That is awful. What does your insurance, I don't know what state you're in. Is your insurance going to make you whole? Hopefully you're not injured at all. I know the accordion thing looks bad, but that actually is a safety feature on most cars where it creates what's called a crumple zone and acts like a shock absorber, which really minimizes the impact and the damage to the occupants in the car while still protecting them. So I know it looks bad and it does a number on the car, but it does that to keep you safe. Yeah, so I was surprised. Little GH Town. This morning, when the defense put some information on the record regarding Manuel Mata, they went so far as to make it sound like he made terroristic threats, like he was the one making the terroristic threats. And they also said that basically an undercover officer who was sort of hovering around in his area heard Manuel Mata say, "I shouldn't be here. I'm probably going to end up getting arrested," or something to that effect today. Or the day he was there. Arkansas said they made chicken and dumplings homemade from lunch today. Good comfort food for cold weather. And Arkansas, I did get a couple of pictures from you. Thank you very much. It was nice to see you and the missus. That's amazing. Thank you. Nothing yet. We are waiting. The jury's still deliberating. So toxic, not any news. I did go back and unrelated or somewhat related. I did go back and watch that chase again that ends up with the wrong person getting bit. And I took the Phoenix 10 feed, which had the best view of the dog biting the individual, and I watched that. And it doesn't show what we saw on the other 2 feeds. It doesn't show that this individual is not related to the crime. But even the helicopter pilot on the Phoenix 10 helicopter, or even the reporter, even he knows that it's the wrong guy. He's like, "Are you sure? Was he wearing that? Can we go back and look?" And I wanted to show that again, just because we have time, as nothing really is happening here right now. So let's go back here. Plus, I get to use my little toy, which is always fun. So here we are using my little jog wheel so I can set this up. This is the car racing down the streets. I backed up a little bit so we could see this little maneuver he pulls when he gets up to a light up here where traffic is bad. So right here, we're going to start rolling right here. You're going to see him take the car in through the intersection, and the officers behind that are chasing follow. Well, he goes to this little parking lot because the traffic up ahead is blocking all 3 lanes at the stoplight. So we're going to start playing right here.
Decide that they needed to pull off for this.
Through,
oh, no, up on the sidewalk here briefly.
Lights follow him in,
boy, okay.
And then he cuts right back out. And now he's got ahead
something else just fell off
of
as
all those
well.
Cars.
Wow.
So this is the funny thing, because this is the one helicopter that says that they're actually canceling the pursuit. So if this guy had driven maybe another mile, he probably would have been fine and gotten away. But no, he stops. Maybe he did get away anyway. I mean, we don't know. But he zips along here. Now listen to the frustration of this pilot. They're the news reporter's voice as this goes on.
Oh.
Okay, here we go.
I don't believe it. Well, we just heard that CHP said that they just said that they're canceling the pursuit, which I mean,
he wants so badly for this thing
to
end.
I mean, obviously this has gotten very dangerous. The person was up on the sidewalk, but this is an armed robbery suspect that we're talking about.
He doesn't even drive half a block.
I'm honestly shocked to hear CHP say that, but getting out of the car, and we got, and thinking that there may.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it here. Let's look at this gentleman as we watch him run. First of all, he's got like a distinct gait, but look at his clothing. Okay, we can see clearly he's got a hat on. He's got a black T-shirt. He's got some light blue jeans, black shoes, and he runs in straight between these 2 cars. And you can't see on this side, but he runs right into the liquor store. Right into the liquor store.
See if we can get around this building right here.
And now the guy's super frustrated because he doesn't see. He's like, helicopter pilot,
looks like
fly
he's
faster.
in front of a motel here. I don't know that they were carjacking anyone. Might have just run up.
And he's a white male. Yeah.
Up to this business right now. Yeah, just randomly out all of it.
Now see where the light is up there?
Just all of a sudden.
Look at where the light is on the helicopters. Way up.
Boy, I don't know if this is the suspect in here or not.
From the liquor store.
I don't know. Well.
He's listening to the police scanner.
That's pretty weird.
That's not him. That's just some guy getting in the car.
Oh, okay. No, the air unit's saying that they have him under the light. He's up. Yeah.
Okay. So this is where the light was.
Okay,
right
we
here.
got the suspect here.
Light's back. So there's no doubt in my mind that the air unit radioed down to this police unit and said, "Hey, we've got him. He went up along the sidewalk along here." Right? That's pretty clear to me. So we're gonna take this down so we can see. I'm gonna play it through, then we'll go back and watch it a little bit slow motion.
Boy, after getting so dangerous, just glad they decided to. Don't know why in that moment decided to get out and run. If they were thinking they were going to run into a business or something, but they are okay. Oh boy. Oh, he's going to get canine right now. Oh boy. Well, wow. And still resisting here. The CHP's got their taser there as well. So, we may have to run back some video. Juan and Pat, I don't know. Could you remember? Was that person wearing a blue hat and a gray sweater? It happened so quickly that they ran under that. We may have to play back that video if you guys get a chance.
Dog's still shaking the daylights out of his arm.
Well, boy, CHP better hope that that's the suspect because
one more shake and now the dog's off. Okay.
Okay.
So now we're going to back up. We're going to pause just a little bit. We're going to roll it back just a tiny bit and watch this happen again in slow motion. So here we go. Officer tells him to stop. He's walking away. Officer pushes a button on his belt, looks back at his car as the door opens up, and the dog comes out. Dog looks to the officer, sees where the officer is pointing. Dog follows directions and goes. And the dogs are trained to basically corner somebody and hold them still. And if you make any threatening move, they're going to latch on. Well, the dog jumps up and barks at him here, and the guy holds still. And so what does the dog do? He's like, there's no fight here. I can't bite. There's no fight, right? So he looks back at the handler. He's like, okay, next. What's next? And the the handler directs him back. And so he's like, lunge, bite. And he bites because he's been told to bite, right? So he gets a good hold of it, and this guy still doesn't really fight back. And the dog lets go. So the dog lets go, comes back. The police officer now, you watch his left hand comes up, and he's like, here, that chew toy right there. Dog turns, gets a good old grab with the elbow. And he does it, if you watch this. Well, as somebody said, some other drunk, some other patron of the liquor store is trying to get down on the ground. Because he's at gunpoint or taser point, at least, one of the two. And so he's getting down. You can see his hands reaching out for the ground to get down on the ground when the dog bites. Boom. He gets him again. And then it's just chew toy time. Shake, 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 shake. Yeah. So it was good fun. Anyway, that was fun. And it was just another reason for me to use my toy. But it's incredible. Fun to watch. Not fun for that gentleman, of course. But let's go back. We still don't have any feeds from the courtroom. Let's see. Beer store owner did an overview with the reporter. He said the guy that got bit lives around the corner and comes in frequently. A good customer. Well, now he can buy the store. You know, the dogs are amazing. The training they go through is incredible. They are so eager to work. It's fun to watch them work. Yeah, he should have complied. He really should have. Him walking away was not a good thing. It definitely was not the same person. I object to the word drunk. I was at the liquor store today. Mac, yeah, we're not insinuating that you're a drunk by any means. Just patronage of the liquor store does not mean you're drunk. So sorry if I implied that by any means. I was just saying that somebody in the chat said, no, they got the wrong drunk. That was some other drunk. Let's see. When I was a kid, we lived in Boston. One night, our German Shepherd started growling. All of a sudden, she went through the screen door. We were being robbed, and she got him by the butt. He cried like a baby. Carol, that's awesome. Good guard dog there. Pickles cure all. Sweet and sassy. I sure hope so, because I drank quite a bit of pickle juice over lunch, too. And it was good. And I'm feeling better. But it might also be the Dayquil I'm on. So could be a little of both. Let's see who we've got. Anybody say anything? Still nothing. Nobody down there is tweeting anything about activity from the courtroom. We haven't heard about the jurors contacting anyone. No bailiff action. Nothing. I'm thinking they want dinner is what they want. If you want to contact me, you can reach me on the Recovery Addict burner phone, 801-513-1160. Leave a voicemail, send a text message, send a photo. It's all okay. You can do that. I'm wondering if maybe we should take a sneak peek at Sarah Boone. The other guy got life in prison. The whole courtroom clapped. You're talking about the Pike, George and the Pike County murders. It was the guy's own fault for not complying. That cop gave the cause. That gave the cop cause. The canine didn't get involved till after he walked off. So I'd better not be on that lawsuit jury. Yeah, I don't think it'll go to a jury though, really, because the jury is going to hear not just the little brief second that it happened as he turned and walked away, but the jury's going to hear the fact that he's just a customer, just walking along, and that he told the guy, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't been involved in anything. You don't have any reason to stop me. I haven't done anything. And granted, the cop did have, arguably probable cause, or at least he thought he did. So the cop believed he had the right to do it. Oh, the DB room clapped. It was the guy's fault for not complying. Right. He was in the wrong. But I don't think what he did, the level of him doing something wrong, justified, because he wasn't running. He wasn't fleeing. He was walking away. So I guess technically that is fleeing, but it didn't require the use of that force with the dog. And maybe as the prosecution and defense definitely will look at this video in slow motion and see that he is standing still, that he's not attacking, and the dog, the handler sicked the dog on him again. I think they're going to settle, because I don't think they'd want to risk having a jury look at that and say, yeah, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right, and go for a big number. Right. The level of force, he was in the wrong. So I mean, he should definitely be arrested for, failing to follow a lawful order, which was a lawful order. Stop and put your hands up type of thing. Get on the ground, something like that. It's the side of the road, next to an officer is the wrong place to argue the facts of the case. There's a court for that, but right. Possibly, I mean, Johnny, about the only thing I could think of him doing wrong is there may be in California, there may be an open container law. If he had an open tall boy, there's a possibility, but that's not justice. That doesn't require a felony stop, at a firearm and a dog being released on you. What could the jury be doing? Did we find Ola yet? No, and she hasn't reached out to me on the chat either. I did verify that she's not in the naughty list, so she should be able to chat. I'm thinking it might be on her side. There was clapping at the Darrell Brooks sentencing in the courtroom. How long have they been deliberating? Looking at about three and a half hours, maybe 3 hours, 45 minutes. Okay, we're gonna take a quick listen here on WFAA. See what they have going on.
I know what really stood out for me during closings was when Ashley Diener said that in order for the self-defense to apply, her conduct had to be unlawful. He had to show that she was acting unlawfully, and
right.
For me that was important because I didn't see an
Oh, she's
not.
Atatiana did absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, she did absolutely nothing wrong. She was justified and right in doing everything and lawful of what she did. And unfortunately, it cost her life.
So Jim is asking, what is the correlation between the
Okay, so nothing from them, nothing from Fox 4. Law and Crime says we'll be right back. So we're still in a holding pattern when it comes to this. I'd always obey commands. I can fight it out in court later. Common sense. I don't break laws. What happens to me, I know the best lawyer in my county. David Moose. He used to do family law. Awesome. It's good to have a lawyer in your pocket, I mean, figuratively speaking. Delivering a verdict and delivering a sentence, two different weighty situations. They are, but the first one really limits the second one and narrows that field. So the first decision is all the way from he walks away and saying there's no harm, no foul type thing. You didn't do anything wrong. You're good. All the way up to life in prison. And the second one is between 2 and 20 years and exactly where you're going to spend that. Christian Hefner says, recovery addict. LMAO, you jumped in right at the hardest truth you have to ignore if you think not guilty. Tell me more. What are you getting at there, Christian? I'd love to talk it over with you. Matthew says, that's why I'm here. Free lawyer in your pocket. If you haven't noticed, Matthew Harris is our resident lawyer. We have some others who poke their head in now and again and participate, and I appreciate all of them. But Matthew has been here. you know, just through thick and thin, in the midst of all his current lawyering. Let's see, Christian. Did you say something else? Hey, Mrs. R.A. just got home. I think they just did some Christmas shopping. Who lives closest to Ola? Pick her up and bring her back to your home. Share the keyboard with her. I don't know where she's at. I really don't. I'm getting a bad feeling about this now. The longer it goes, less time. You think so? I don't know. See, the point is the dog continues to bite even though he's not struggling. Yeah.
There's a lawsuit.
Yep. It almost seems like it would be harder to find a fitting sentence than just decide if he was wrong. Okay, I can see that, and maybe we're in for 15 hours of deliberation instead of just the 13 to determine guilt. What's in the second frame top row of your big monitor? It looks like solitaire. Second frame top row. No, actually that's this one right here. That's Fox 4. Is that the one you're looking at? This one right there is Fox 4. So here's me. Here's Fox 4. We have WFAA there. This is my GoPro, which is what you're seeing right behind me. I've got my chat over here in this window. Law and crime down here. Down here in this corner, I've got, you can't see it, but I've got Super Source, and that one looks like this right there. And I can put whatever I want in those boxes.
Yes, they are.
And then, let's see. So down here at the bottom is all my audio monitoring. Here I've got my media player, which is still frame. Whatever's in this box is what's coming up next, and I can change that to what I'm going to switch to. And then this is my streaming status, and my recording status is behind there. So there you go. MB, I just gave you a walkthrough of what's called the multi-view on the Blackmagic Design ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. Cullivar says, folks forget cops are human. You got no idea if that guy with a badge and a gun is a veteran, if he has shaky hands, if he has a bad day, etc. Just easier to comply. Right. So the cops are human thing. That officer that sicked the dog on the dude made a split-second decision, as did Aaron Dean. David Moose has been held in contempt for so many times in 30 years. I wish I had a quarter for each time. He's your lawyer, right? So, Roxanne, you're saying if you were playing basketball, you'd want your coach to be ejected from the game, right? That's what you want. You want somebody who really goes to bat for you. Little GH Town said they just had another case of a cop shooting through a window at an armed homeowner in Houston. Luckily, the homeowner wasn't shot. So, it's almost identical scenario, but bad aim on the officer's part. Let me know when we have a resident orthopedic surgeon. Is there a doctor in the house? Ann says, I'm back. I wish we had something to give you as far as the sentence went, but we're still deliberating. We're coming close to, let's see, looks like, according to Law and Crime, the counter in the bottom right-hand corner, 3 hours, 46 minutes, 52 seconds. But, yeah, so that's a long time to deliberate. There's a cop lover holdout on the jury, says Rich Buddy. You think so? But it was still able to get a conviction for manslaughter. I'd be surprised if there was really a holdout there. I'd think they would have held out on the conviction. Christian says, recovery addict, the self-defense aspect being nullified because Atatiana's actions were lawful. Okay, so I guess so. The issue is, how do we get to the point where one person is dead and both people? You can't have one person be dead and both people be following the law, right? So the officer can't claim self-defense if Atatiana was doing everything lawfully. Is that what you're saying? James says, recovery addict's been in depositions all morning. Did I miss anything? You probably got more than we did. Give us a scoop. What's up in the depositions? I know you probably can't. But no, what we've had this morning is we had the closing statements in the sentencing phase from prosecution, defense, and then the prosecution got the cleanup batter as well. I will say most of the prosecution's closing was a very emotional appeal. Not factual, but very emotional. Okay, let's see. The audio from the court is horrible. Yes, they recorded it in a potato that was stuck in a tin can at the back of the room. It is awful. Plus, everything's from behind, so you have to just sort of guess at who's talking unless the judge is looking at you. That's one of the reasons why it made the Pike County case such a hard one to watch, just from a technical standpoint. Let's see. Roxanne's bragging about her lawyer some more. He's a criminal lawyer now. He goes to bat for his defendants, especially if he knows them. He's known me for 35 years. I've never been arrested, so he would know it was wrongful. Yep. No prior acts to introduce in your case, for sure. Dancing never hurt anyone, says Debbie. Mr. Botto got his bond reinstated today, so he should be back out. And I imagine, unless the judge gave him some sort of gag order, I imagine he will be sharing his story a little bit, because that's what he does. He's very open with what he's the legal proceedings that he's involved with. I still think they need to fire the guys who told him not to announce, and also the ones who did not train him to call for backup. There may be some policy changes in the works, and it will probably happen prior to the large settlement the family gets. He was almost held in contempt for my divorce, says Roxanne. Speaking of contempt, on this case, I was hearing that both the mayor and a city councilman have contempt charges against them regarding them talking to the media when they were under a gag order. And apparently this judge has had enough of it. And so he might be having more than just stern words with them. We'll see what happens. Tom says, with as many orthopedic surgeries as I had in 1 year, I might as well be a resident orthosurgeon. Well, that's the next best thing, Experience counts. There's a job-hating juror who's the holdout. There's a job-hating juror. There's a cop-hating juror who is the holdout. Everyone wants probation except the one guy who won't settle for anything less than 5 to 10 years. That's your take on what's happening, Patricia? It'll be interesting to see if that's the case. Manuel is being released. I don't expect him back in the courtroom. I'm pretty sure the judge will tell him that's a no-no. James Rogers says, recovery addict, I think the entire jury has to agree on the verdict/sentencing. That may be the holdup. They do have to agree, but they were able to reach a consensus previously, even though it was just a one of three options. Laura, I don't think Patricia has inside information regarding that. I think that's just her guess as to what's happening. I get hurt every time I try to dance. I have zero coordination. I will say that I don't get hurt when I try to dance, but the people whose feet I step on may get hurt. Kolvar says, no, both the officer and Atatiana's have the right to self-defense. Nothing nullifies that. Hugs all the peoples I had not said hello to. Thank you, Abby. Appreciate you. Who's held to the higher standard in that courtroom, though? The random woman who thought the house was being stalked in the middle of the night, or the trained officer that they gave a gun to? Come on, says Mel. The self-defense lawyer channel covered that. I do watch him. I know he was live streaming today. I probably should try to catch up on that. I think he's doing the same thing we are, doing a sort of a sentencing watch. I had an internet stalker take a serious turn today. Any advice would be appreciated. Patty, that can be serious. I would definitely Share the information about who it is and what it is with other people. And definitely seek some legal advice. Debbie is challenging everyone to get up and shake their booty. I'm going to have to pass on that challenge because in this room, this court of public opinion, I'm the only one that has a camera rolling. And you guys can all see it. And that's just not going to happen. Mayor and city councilman to appear January 4th, says Sweet and Sassy. I wonder what he's going to do. I imagine it's just going to be, he's not going to like lock him up. He's not going to lock up the mayor. That just starts a fight, right? And then next thing you know, the judge's street is declared like a low-income housing road, and everything's, yeah. The mayor and the judge getting a fight would not be good. I get what you're saying, but both can have the right to self-defense at the same time lawfully. I think, Culliver, the defense that the Officer Dean, arguably that Officer Dean was providing, was actually defending Atatiana. I know this is a weird stretch, but he was there to defend that property against the possible break-in. So he was there responding to help the homeowners and ended up hurting them. This judge is definitely no Judge Darrow. No, but I like this one. I really do. I like that he speaks in plain words and is just down to earth a little bit. Brittany says you need a protective order. Call non-emergency if you aren't in danger. 911 if you're scared. You need to start a paper trail. There's probably job-hating jurors, too. Apparently, these ones don't like the food they're getting outside of jury duty. So that's why they're here so long. Let's listen into Law and Crime briefly here.
Portion of the hearing now to check it out.
No, I think that's the wrong hearing. Yeah, they're going back to Pike. Okay, we don't want Pike. Debbie, you're a shining star no matter what you are, shining bright to see. Let's see. Patricia, no. Don't poll Reddit. Don't poll Reddit. That is not good advice. It will not be viewed as a joke. Next thing you know, we would see you in the courtroom talking to the judge. Culver says, I'll find you the clip. It's buried somewhere on his channel. It was a while ago. He covered it. Okay, that would be awesome. Matthew Harris is our resident lawyer. Please visit his channel. He has amazing stuff, and he's got more amazing stuff coming out. It's well worth a follow and a subscription. And go watch a few of his videos. I had a stalker once. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. 10 out of 10 is the high side. Yeah, I would do like 1 out of 10 would not recommend. Or maybe a 3, depends how good the stalker was. When it comes to the law, no one should be held to any higher standard regardless of occupation because ignorance of the law is no excuse. I believe the law should be applied equally. We shouldn't have classes of people who have special protections beyond what other normal people get. I like that the judge doesn't take any crap in his courtroom. This is his room. This is his office. When you're in his house, you obey his rules. Yes, little GH Town. Not a welfare check. So what? I guess welfare check would be a step different. It would have different response times or different response protocols. This one was the open door incident, which has the same protocol as a possible burglary in process. They sentenced Pike today. He will die in prison. I went back and watched that during the break, and yes, he got a lot of years. And I think the way they structured it is that all the enhanced penalties for firearm convictions on each of the charges are going to be served first without credit for any time served. And those are all going to be served consecutively before the life sentences begin, which basically adds, I think it's like 121 years, and then his life sentences begin. So yeah, he's not getting out. He's got 8 life sentences consecutive as well. I'm like a big grumpy teddy bear. They said it's the guy in the Pike murders. Yep, he's not going to be wearing that vest anymore. Maybe he can pass it on to one of his family members whose trial is starting soon. Aaron Dean should sing Into the Flood again. Same old trip it was back then, so I made a big mistake trying to see it once. Tried to see it once my way. I don't know that song, Roxanne. What's the reference you're getting at there? I only left 1 star because I couldn't leave none. Why is it taking so long? Good question. The jury is the only one who knows this. They've heard all the evidence. They've had basically all but about an hour this morning since trial started to deliberate. Culver says, what did Pike do again for those of us that missed it? George Wagner, I believe is the individual in the Pike County murders. Basically, one family decided they planned for months to kill another family. And these two families, they knew each other because they had children who had crossed the line, Romeo and Juliet style, had a shared child. And so this, the surviving family basically killed 8 members of the victim family in order to get custody of that child. And there's a lot of allegations of abuse and things which they felt justified their actions. But really, they just snuck in late at night, followed a very elaborate plan to go in, and they basically murdered everybody to get the daughter. Clover, I'm sorry, I've actually been working outside in shorts. It's 40 degrees. It's 46 here. It's really warming up. James says to Matthew, we're just, jumping in the conversation here. In deposition all morning with a newbie 28-year-old attorney objecting to every question I asked. We're going in front of the judge on Thursday. Sad. He doesn't know what objections to make, so he's making all of them. Throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. Does anyone have any fun Christmas holiday traditions? Let's see. Law and Crime's rolling a new tape, but it's something unrelated. The neighbor made a statement that if he hadn't called the cops, the incident never would have happened. Yeah, I agree. And maybe that neighbor, in hindsight, should have just called her or walked over and knocked on the door. And then it wouldn't have happened. But, there's lots of times when something happens, we can go back and say, this is a point where it could have changed. But we didn't know what we know now then. And had it happened again, we probably would make the same decision again. So we can't go back and second guess ourselves. Okay. Edward's holding out for the barbecue and the pickles. Barbecue, when we say barbecue here in North Carolina, at least eastern North Carolina, we're talking about a vinegar-based barbecue, which tastes exactly as you would imagine. And for someone who likes pickles, I'm not a huge fan of vinegar-based barbecue. I can eat it, but it's not my favorite. Jim Bob says, in the airplane training industry, it is widely known that confirmation bias is a training issue, and the only way to solve it is to train them to avoid it. Right? I think we saw that in this case with how the officers handled the call when they showed up. Everything that they saw, they fit into the scenario of a burglary in progress. When it wasn't. Sweet and Sassy says, got to go put up more Christmas lights. Still can't see my place from space. 500 more lights. Be back soon. Sweet and Sassy, stop by my place because I have not put up any lights. I've been busy live streaming, and my house is bare on the inside. We do have one tree up that you can see through the window, but that's it. I need to probably set something up before the neighbors start throwing eggs in my house. Let's see. I have to teach a young opposing counsel how to practice law. He's going to learn today. You're going to have to school him. That's what's going to happen, James. You're really going to have to just put him in his place. And then afterwards, put your lawyerly arm around him and just say, hey, I'm sorry I had to beat you down like that in court, but now you know. I think my son's headed to work. we passed the 4-hour mark. I believe we did. We're very close if we haven't. Culver says, as the resident silly conspiracy theorist, Sweet and Sassy is doing that to signal the alien mothership from Earth to steal all of our pickles. Aha. The Clark Griswold home has a more sinister purpose, is what you're saying. I stopped decorating. I got depressed after I lost everything. It just doesn't make sense to keep replacing things year after year. I get depressed just trying to put them up and then take them back down again. But granted, when I put up the lights, it's generally freezing cold and it's dark. And I'm putting up these lights and I wind them around the pillars in front of the house. And it looks cool. And then I realize that all of them are wound one direction except for one. And now it's like the wrong, one candy cane has a counterclockwise and all the rest should be clockwise. So I have to go back and fix them. And so I do that usually, the week of Christmas is when I put my lights up because that's when I do it. And then taking down the lights is really awful as well because you're sweating to death. It's the middle of July. All the neighbors are staring at you. But yeah, lights for me are rough. Hopefully the judge will put it in place on Thursday. Good luck, James. I hope that happens. Maybe the judge will do it lovingly and just be like, hey, you're new here. Let's teach you how things work. I wrap lots of small gifts in saran wrap. Each adult has 30 seconds per turn to free a gift. What they steal is theirs. No biting or pulling of wrap. So, MB, we played a game like that with the youth group here this last month where we had about a basketball-sized ball of saran wrap that had candy in it. And the goal was to get as much candy as you could. But we forgot to tell them they were supposed to use plastic silverware to unwrap the ball. And instead, the first person grabbed it and just spun it, like tossing it in the air and pulled it, and everything came out, and he got all the candy. And so he won. One thing that stands out to me is that the female officer who was the first on scene never identified or called for backup either. It's a tough case, right? But she didn't shoot, right? Officer Darch didn't shoot. She did pull her gun out, arguably when she shouldn't have, when there was no clear threat. So it's, and she was only 3 months out on the job on her own. Very, very new. I go fishing on Christmas Day. Lopez, I've done that a time or two. I used to spend New Year's Eve out on the ice, ice fishing, and I'd just ring in the new year with a little fish finder and almost silence out on the ice. We made a winter wonderland at our place. It's going to be a lot of fun taking it all down. Weather Watch, send pictures before you take it down. We'd love to see it. Did you know that Weather Watch controls the weather? How else could he predict it so well? That's the truth. Hey, what's happening here?
Happy to see you. Okay, go ahead. You can talk too. Hold on. Let me hand you a mic.
This is really
but people expect this.
No, what I was saying is that as soon as she steps off the stand is when they point out Mata in the courtroom.
Right.
And then that whole exchange happens with the arrest and everything.
That's when my mouth kind of went to the floor.
Yeah. So it was her getting off the stand and then him standing up because he was called up. It was just kind of a lot of chaos.
A lot of chaos broke out right at that moment.
That was my point.
Ryan, your fans are saying hi.
Mic back? Yeah. Folks are very happy to see you. I'm taking the mic. I'm taking the mic. Oh,
winding it up like
winding that cord.
Cute.
Somebody said, "Is that Jake?"
No, that's not Jake.
The way she wound that cord up made me cringe. That made me cringe. That is the wrong way to wind up a mic cable. Let's see. We were a giant family of over 500 people. We would rent out an entire ice skating rink and spend the whole day giving out presents and skating. Also, we hire catering. Hey, the thing I like about that, Jim Bob, is generally when there's a party that big, I can just squeeze in and no one will know who I am or know that I'm not supposed to be there. And then it's like free food and great, great ice skating, and it's awesome. And then we all leave and everyone's happy. It's like sort of invading a wedding party, and if anyone asks, you're with the other side. Tom says, recovered act. My parents' house alarm went off and the cops came. Took them over an hour to get there. I was already there, cleared the whole house, and the cops still walked the perimeter, gun drawn. I went up my mic cables like earbuds and stuff in the random drawer. Is that wrong? Matthew, I'll make a video for you. that shows you how to wind up cables. It will save you money. Let's put it that way. It's really sad that YouTubers covering the court cases are a million times better than the professionals. No wonder they copy claim you guys. Yep, they're all over us. My saran wrap walls are about 4 to 5 feet when we start out. It takes 2 300-foot boxes of wrap. Oh, my goodness. That's a lot. Let it be summer. Thanks for being here. You got here a little late, but we're glad you're here anyway. Welcome. Hopefully work is going great. And the end will come soon. You'll be able to join us. And maybe let it be summer. You'll get home before the verdict or the sentence is in. They need to retrain some cops. I believe there should be continuous training for police officers. I'm doing a Christmas photo shoot here in Orlando tonight and tomorrow with kids making sand angels and a snowman. Sand angels. When I was little, we would always get up early and open Christmas presents. Then after lunch, I had my birthday. I would get to open my birthday presents. Okay, so let me share a little bit. This Christmas is on Sunday, and I'm a church-going folk, and our church is having our little get-together at 10 on Sunday, and I'm trying to figure out what the right thing to do with my kids is. Do we have them get up in the morning, open all the presents, then get ready and go to church? And then come home and just play with the presents? Do we get up and try to open just a couple presents to keep them happy and then go to church, then come home and then open the rest of the presents? I need to know what the right thing to do is. I know what the kids want. They've voted, and they've determined that the right thing to do is to wake up at 4 a.m. and open all the presents and play with them, and then probably just watch the live stream online of church and then keep playing with the presents. But I'm not sure what I should decide there. So if you have some input on that, let me know. Let It Be Summer says, I'm working from home and waiting for her verdict. What's the next big case you're following? We're following Sarah Boone. Tomorrow there's going to be hearings for Sarah Boone. We believe it's going to be broadcast. If it's not, we'll follow the details as it happens as closely as we can. But we're going to be doing a catch-up on Sarah Boone and everything that's got us to this point, including the latest letter from Sarah Boone to the judge, which is a doozy as well. I've got that almost all prepped right now, and it's going to be amazing. So please don't miss tomorrow's show. It'll start 9 a.m. Eastern time, and then yes, it will be Sarah Boone. But that's not going to be. That's just going to be one day. We just have Sarah Boone tomorrow, and honestly, there's probably not going to be a lot happening towards the end of this week, as it's the Christmas week. I think a lot of the courts are going to be taking a couple days off towards the end. So we'll catch up. And if you have not followed up with Sarah Boone, if you don't know what the suitcase murder case is all about, if you don't know how to play hide and seek and end up with the other person dead, you need to be here tomorrow for sure, because we're going to cover all of that. We're going to cover the interrogations. We're going to cover why she's had 6 defenders, with 5 of them, I believe, being public defenders. Maybe this is her 7th. I have to count. We're going to cover the schedule, what's coming up, when we expect to see her in court, and all that. It's going to be good, especially with the drama between her and her lawyer, and now she's involving the judge and potentially the governor, because she's said she's going to do that as well. It might be a little harder to get copies of the letter she writes to the governor, but I believe that should be public record, so it might take some work. In the meantime, I will tell you, back with that the police dog bites the wrong guy case. Last night, I filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the California Highway Patrol, who was the responding agency there, and I asked for everything. I asked for every video, every dash cam, every body cam, every helicopter video, the police radio, recordings of police radio traffic, all the reports, everything I can get. And so we'll see. It might cost me a small fortune to get that, but they should be in contact with me at least to let me know about how much it costs. But California is actually very open to providing those sorts of records, so we'll see what they allow me to get. Let's see. You're thinking about this too hard, bud. Just put them in the closet, lock it, and then let them out when you get home. See, easy. I don't know. That might fall in the category where suddenly I become a defendant in court. I think it would be nice to open a few presents, then go to church, come home and do the rest. Open one or two, then save the rest for evening when you get home. So we do. I will say that we live far from all family members. So this Christmas, as the past couple have been, we're not going to have any family over, and we're not going to any family because they're thousands of miles away. So we don't have a lot of family over. We may have some guests. We have some friends some people that we met just in a strange situation, and they needed some help. We were able to help them a little bit, and they've sort of become friends, and they come over quite a bit. We'll probably have Christmas dinner with them, but you'll see. My parents let us open one present Christmas Eve, then after church open gifts. That was good. So we're doing, probably we'll do children's gifts. I like the sibling gifts to each other before church, and then that's it. Open a couple presents, then do. Okay, I think I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Yeah, either way, they're not going to want to be at church, right? They know there's a present under the tree with their name on it, and it's going to be. It's like, can we go yet? The problem is at church, I'm the tech guy. You'd never imagine this, but I'm the tech guy at church too, right? So I'm the guy that sets up projectors and sound systems and cabling and things like that. So I have to be there a little bit early, and I'll probably have to be there a little bit late to tear things down. Let them open some. You guys are really kind. Bring them to church so your pastor can help them play with them. Might have to try that. Still nothing from the courtroom. Let's check Twitter one more time to see if there's anything coming in. Jury's still in deliberation. Nothing. Tom, I'm not even confident it's going to come out today. I'm not sure the jury's going to be able to reach a consensus here. A kennel, put him in a kennel, and then get him a puppy and let them play with the puppy in the kennel, locked in the kennel for the puppy's safety. Okay, I see where you're going with that, Colora, but it still might not pass muster. Might need to dip into the pickle fund. Yes. Put the presents in the trunk. Tell them we're giving them to the poor at the church, and find out something about your kids. I think my kids would actually be okay with that. They're amazing. Weather Watch. I have a strong opinion on this one. A very strong opinion. I believe wholeheartedly that if Santa wanted the presents wrapped that he provides for all the good girls and boys around the world, his elves would have wrapped them when they made the presents. That's just how it is. If Santa wanted them wrapped, he would have wrapped them to begin with. Updated from a person at the courthouse, waiting, ate lunch, still waiting. Yep, that's the update we're getting here. That was Rebecca Lopez, I think, right now.
Roy Oliver. What do you recall about them during the Oliver case, Rebecca?
Well, I actually recall that they brought in some of the same expert witnesses. They brought in the same use of force expert that testified in this case, testified in the Roy Oliver case. And in that case, what I remember is also their defense was somewhat similar in that they said at the time that Roy Oliver fired his rifle
They're
and
talking
shot
about
Jordan
other
Edwards.
cases here.
He was a teen sitting in the back of a teenage boy sitting in the back of a car. And
let's see. Here's a fun topic to bring up. What do you think of Elon? Sorry, I said Elron for some reason. Elon Musk stepping down from Twitter already. Kenny, I voted in that poll. I will tell you, I voted twice because, as always with all elections, it's best to vote early and vote often if you want the proper outcome. So I voted twice in that poll. And it looks like the vast majority, or a super majority, want him to step down from Twitter. And he said he'll abide by that. I think he would not have put that poll up unless he had a plan in place already. He never wanted to run Twitter. right? He's got other things. He's got SpaceX and Tesla and things like that to run. A social media company was not on his shiny list. So I think he's probably got somebody else lined up for that, and we'll hand it over here very soon. Hopefully there's somebody who's doesn't make some of the knee-jerk reactions he's done, especially in light of the reasoning he gave for wanting to buy Twitter. It seemed to be contrary to his actions. It's not going to go over well to all. It's not going to go over well to all. Open all the presents, then just not let them play with them. Right? That's not going to work. Are they sequestered? I know they were sequestered for the first part, but I don't think they were sequestered over the weekend. Presents are hidden from Santa until Christmas morning, never wrapped. We've actually had to resort to hiding presents at neighbors' houses. We have some neighbors that are older and don't have any children at home, and they've been amazing at storing stuff for us, which makes it impossible for them to get spied on. I'd rather not comment on Musk. This year I sent the Grand Poopers a toy that makes the noise and a whole pack of batteries, so it never runs out. You're wonderful, Klovar. You're just wonderful. That's amazing. We're going to need this jury to... Oh, we've got a poll still going. Why didn't you guys tell me there's a poll up here that we need to close out? I'm going to go ahead and close it here because some of you might not know it's there. I'm going to give you like 25 seconds. That means you'll be able to... I won't close it till you hear what I'm saying right here, right now, right? That makes sense because there's a delay. He purchased Twitter for the data, massive human data to input to his AI technologies. That's true. There is all sorts of data there. If you're into big data, that is a huge asset. Okay, I can see some votes coming in. The numbers are changing a little bit right now. We'll give it just another few seconds and we'll wrap it up. Okay, I think we're done. I think we're going to close it out. And this poll the question was, Aaron Dean sentence, what do you think is going to happen? 2 to 8 years, 53% came in at 2 to 8 years. Only 29% with 8 to 14, and even smaller, 17%, 14 to 20. So I'm guessing that of the 2 to 8 years, you probably lean a little bit higher than 2 years. If we put all those 53% of people on the 2 to 8 spectrum, I'm guessing it would lean heavily on the 8-year side. I find it hilarious that the kid who kept posting his location hacked into the stem that he pays to protect that and then goes to CNN to extort him for $50K. I'd ban his entitlement too. Yeah, that he did some things that probably weren't ethical there. But he got offered $5,000, right? I think Elon offered him $5,000 to take it down. He should have just taken that. That's good money. It didn't cost him that much to write the program. Does anyone put the pickle ornament on their tree? I believe it's an Eastern European tradition. Also, Jimmy John's sells pickle ornaments on their website. So if you're a fan of those sub sandwiches, you can buy that ornament as well. They should hire that kid, not ban him. That's often the case when you get somebody who's exploited a weakness in software. The best bet would be for the company, instead of to try to throw the book at him and try to cover up the fact that they were exposed, instead bring them on board. They could be a huge asset in helping protect your application or your website. I saw that picture. Interesting. System, my bad. What did you say? I missed the original quote. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Is that how it goes? Twitter's still got no action on the Aaron Dean case. Oh, sorry, I thought I muted my mic and you heard me gulp all that time. Sorry about that. My brother's a white hat for hacking. Many times companies will let things settle down and then hire these guys in-house very quietly. I love that. If you're interested in white hat hacking, start with a class called Certified Ethical Hacker. My favorite thing about that course is generally when it's taught in person, the first thing they do is they give you some of these. I'll show the other camera so you can see them. Some lock picks. They give you some lock picks and set some locks out, and you start playing with locks, some physical security, and they teach you about bypassing safety mechanisms and the vulnerabilities of locks and things like that. So it's a mindset they try to teach you. Patricia says, "Hello, I'm a new subscriber." Patricia, welcome. Good to have you here. We're all sitting here waiting for the jury to come back in the Texas v. Aaron Dean case, and it's been a long wait. Actually, we're coming up on 4.5 hours of waiting. With all that water gulping, I thought the court was back in session, says Patricia. Patricia D. Different Patricia. Nice to have two of you back to back. Yeah, I was thirsty. I'm sorry. I should have muted my mic. It won't happen again. Have you heard anything about Bradley Yon? Last I heard, Kevin, was that the trial was delayed because the victim passed away, but I thought that was back in 2021 that she passed away. The victim was an elderly woman, and he's got all sorts of charges based on what he did. But I'm not sure if they delayed it because they're going to escalate or elevate the charges against him to include some that account for her death. Okay. I'm super curious, and I know I'm supposed to be focused on the stream here, but I know that my wife, Mrs. R.A., just went to the store. And I also know that we're running low on pickles. And I'm wondering if she bought any, and for some reason I can't get that idea out of my head, so I might have to get up and run and check. Not that it will change anything. Me getting up and looking to see if she got pickles will not make pickles appear if she didn't, nor will it make them disappear if she did. But I've got this nagging, need. It's like OCD in me that I have to check and see if we have pickles. So, Mrs. R.A., if you're watching, please come open the door and let me know if we've got pickles or not. There are a lot of programming or hacking type video games that are actually also really good at teaching programming. Jim Bob, I've got one of my sons that is just, he thinks in programming language. That's his brain operates like a program. And sometimes that can be super frustrating talking to him because he's very analytical and thinks things through. And sometimes he's does a lot of thinking and then spits out the answer, and I've forgotten what the question was. But he's very smart. He's really good with software, manipulating it. A fellow pickle lover. Most of us are pickle lovers. Not all. We have a few heathens in the group, but we allow them to stay because they like true crime. Carol says, when is the Sarah Boone suitcase trial? Well, Sarah Boone will be in court tomorrow. We believe she'll be in court. She's actually told the judge, I would like to be present for all my hearings. The way she put it, she said, I want to be there for all my dates. So we think she will physically be in the court, and we think there will actually be video footage. Now, it's probably not going to be great video footage. It might just be one camera sort of set up in the corner, but hopefully it'll have enough that we can get the gist of what's happening, because Sarah Boone has really been complaining about her lawyer. And she's complained about her lawyer to her lawyer, and then she's complained about her lawyer to the judge twice. And now she says that she's going to complain about her lawyer and the judge to the governor. And so we have a few of these letters that we think the judge is going to address, and basically this hearing is a status hearing to see if both sides are ready to proceed, especially with the fact that the trial is scheduled for January 30th. So the end of January it's supposed to begin. Those are criminal instruments. That is specially designed, made, or adapted for the use or commission of an offense. Yes, it is. Sort of. I'm looking for the book. I've got a manual here for the test I'm studying for here in North Carolina to become a certified locksmith, which will, in most states, get me off the hook of getting charged with having tools, criminal tools. In North Carolina, though, the law is written such that I can be in possession of a lockpick set, and it will not be a problem unless I'm also committing a crime. So if I'm committing a crime and also in possession, then I have a problem. But if I just have the instruments themselves, I'm not committing a crime. Also, I can even pick locks for people that they own, that I have permission for. But in North Carolina, I cannot charge money for picking locks for people unless I have a permit or a license, lock-picking license. Every state's different, though. I would not recommend that you just go out and buy some lockpicks on eBay because, if you're in Tennessee, you might be committing a felony. I'm eating pot of gold chocolates from Neighbor, wondering when I'll stop. Probably when the chocolate runs out. Let it be summer. That's generally when I stop. It was a Zachtronics game called Shenzhen.io that taught me I could program. Then I went to Arduino projects and computer programming. I love that. My son's using a Raspberry Pi right now, but we're looking at some other, possibly Arduino or maybe even some of the graphics-based processors. Let's see. Hey, what's happening? Oh, okay. Long Crime just went back to a replay. The mom was back on the stand. I saw the judge for a minute, and there was nothing. Let's see. Have you ever heard of Chris Chan case? It's very spicy. Culver, is it much worse than the Young Thug case where we were streaming live when the live stream inside the courtroom was hacked and some inappropriate video was played? That was about as spicy as my channel's ever gotten. I feel a sneeze coming on. I have to mute everything. 1 second. We need some music. What's some good music for me to sneeze to? How about this one? Of course, now the sneeze, went its way. Like it does. What's not to like about pickles except sweet pickles? If you hate those, I get it. Those are gross. MB, give the sweet pickles, the spicy maple bourbon pickles, a chance. They're better than most sweet pickles. Mutt, welcome. Thanks for being here. Looks odd. It keeps telling me I'm disconnected. Well, you're here. I can see your chat. For what that's worth. Pickle on a stick is a big sell. Kids at sporting event, food stand. Is it just a regular dill? You just stab a dill and sell it? I mean, I would buy. I'm not saying that's a weird thing, but do they do anything else to it to make it more appealing? Criminal instruments are just a lie created for cops to hassle people. Carol says I'm eating Rolos. Those are delicious. Cheese on a stick is so good. Is that like a mozzarella cheese? Internet's own boy, Chris Chan. I don't know that one, Jim Bob. I have not followed that one. Pretty soon, Sarah doesn't have anything to worry about. They've got all the information she previously given to her first 5 or 6 PDs. I don't think it'll be a problem considering your Young Thug Day made me blush. Yeah, I apologize to all those who are watching on the big screen. Maybe if you were on a cell phone type device or an iPad, you wouldn't see much to be worried about, but on a large enough screen, there might have been a problem there. Straight up pickles on a dill. Pickles, dill on a stick. that has got to be some good money. What would you charge? What do you charge for a dill on a stick like that? Chocolate-covered peanuts. Are they candy-coated chocolate-covered peanuts like M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, or just the general chocolate-covered peanuts? Okay, song's over and the sneeze never happens. So, oh wow, Kolivar. Yeah, that's one we might skip. Wisconsin cheese curds, since we're talking about food. I love cheese curds. Is it like squeaky cheese, TW? Because some of the cheese curds I really enjoy. When you take a bite, it's like it squeals. It like makes a little squeaky noise, which is really good. Just popping in to say I'm starving. You're killing me here. I'm grooming a dog named Tux. Are you grooming him with like a custom colored, like a tuxedo coat or something? Everyone's eating good stuff. We do. We all like food here. Most of us are addicted to eating as well. Do it on a regular basis. Fried pickles are good. Common appetizer in lots of restaurants. Chocolate-covered milk chocolate. I've seen worse. Once I searched for my bio dad's name on Facebook and found a very inappropriate home video. Oh, man. You buy the mega jar at Walmart for $2. You buy a bunch of skewers, and then you sell a pickle on a stick, and that's it. Okay, so there's our business idea. Maybe we should do that. That will fund our next purchase for the channel, is pickle sales. Of course, I'll have to have my kids do all the sales. I'll employ them to do that. Oh man. Oh, just finished my chips, fish, peas, and gravy from the Chippy. I want just fish and chips. That's it. I don't have any chippies around here. And the ones we do have don't cook chips like they should be cooked. The bosses ordered lunch from a Mediterranean place for Christmas lunch. I once, when I first got into contracting with the federal government, my first company, the first Christmas, I show up to this Christmas party, and they're like, they put everyone's name in a hat, and they're drawing prizes, and they're giving away big screen TVs and cruises, and just like, it was like there was just money everywhere. They're just throwing prizes at everybody. Somehow I don't think I won anything, but everyone else did. I think I was so new, my name didn't get put in the hat. But just prizes galore and great food and everything. And then the next year, I think they realized that there was probably a bill or some sort of tax that they owed that they hadn't counted on, and they had given away most of the money. So the next year, they're like, here's a gift certificate to get half off on a turkey. That was the present. Like, hang on, what? Where's the cruise? Where's the big screen TVs that happened last year? No, that was a mistake. Anything happened while I was gone? No, Debbie, nothing. But thanks for checking back in. Clearly from England. Yes, I think Affetti6280 is from England with the word chippy. We are still waiting. I keep checking here on the Twitter. I have all the alerts from all the people who should know, and there's nothing. I'm getting some texts from a few of you as well on the burner phone. It looks like Culliver's blown up the phone here recently. Sends me a link and then don't play on air. Okay, so I'll have to check that one off the air. Review first. Okay, I'll review that. TikTok wants me to post some more. They're like that. Okay. My brother worked for a tech company that did that. On the 5th year, they did it and then fired half the people. He said it was a very awkward celebration. It's like, hey, now you've all got your gifts. If your gift was wrapped in red, you're no longer employed. Lancashire, wonderful. Glad to have you here. We were hoping today would be the day that we would get the sentencing for Erin Dean, because I don't want it to run into Sarah Boone tomorrow for her hearing, because we're going to be with Sarah. We've planned on this for the whole time. Don't open Culver's video. He's trying to prove the Earth isn't oblong. And it's probably a subliminal message, to try to brainwash me. Fried alligator. There's one I haven't tried. I think I might have tried alligator. I was at a Brazilian restaurant, and they had a really weird selection of meat. It was a unique sort of grill where you had like a red light, green light thing on your table, and as long as the green light was up, they'd just come around with all these different meat selections and serve meat to you. And when you were tired and wanted a break, you'd flip the red light up. But I'm like, why would you ever flip the red light up? It's just free food that just keeps coming delivering itself to your table. And so we just kept green light the whole time until we were full. What happens if the jury can't reach a decision? Well, Abby, Matthew Harris answered that right here. If the jury can't reach a unanimous decision, then the judge must declare a mistrial. In this case, it would be a mistrial just for the sentencing phase. And so they would impanel a new jury just for sentencing and go through the sentencing process again. So he's guilty. He's not going to get out of that if there's a mistrial on the sentencing. Yeah, the whole firing around Christmas time tends to be a thing in the business world for some reason. It's like they feed you first, and then they announce that you won't have a job come New Year's. What could possibly be taking the jury so long? We all want to know. Matthew Harris says, I'm doing it wrong then. I did a bunch of hiring through the Christmas season. Well, Matthew, that's a good sign for you guys. Hopefully you never have to do the firing during the Christmas season. AJ, welcome. Good to have you here. Glad you could pop in. Nothing exciting has happened this morning, unfortunately. And now we're into the early hours of the afternoon. I felt bad eating after visiting the alligator farm. I don't know. I never feel bad for eating an alligator because I know they would do the same to me if they got the chance and not think twice about it. Few of you have been laid off right before Christmas. I will say in my last contract with the Department of Defense, they kept telling us that here's your last day, and then it kept pushing out, and it pushed out for like a year and a half, just 3 months at a time. So we always thought that we were about to be laid off, and then it didn't happen. What could be the holdup? Well, you might have somebody who's just wholeheartedly believes that that probation is appropriate, and someone else who says you need to serve time. And if they just can't come to an agreement, then we'll have a hung jury. Just got a fresh supply of Bambi. Hopefully it's not Bambi. It might be like Bambi's dad. Mars House says, RA, I'm fairly new to trial watching. Does it normally take a while for jurors coming back with sentencing, or is it usually fast? You never know. We really don't. Sometimes we anticipate fast and it takes forever, and sometimes you think it'll take forever and it's like open and shut for the jury. So this is not unreasonable by any means. But if it goes past 2 days, then I would be surprised. My dad was a country boy from North Carolina. He would eat anything that didn't eat him first. We grew up eating wild game. That's good stuff. Yeah, I wonder, maybe Matthew can answer this. If the jury comes back with a verdict, is there still an option to have a directed sentence from the judge at that point at this point in the trial, or was that point passed that they already asked for that and it was turned down? AJ, I'm so sorry. Christmas Adam, the 23rd. Oh, man. Oh. Were you already looking for another job, or was this the first you'd heard? I do like venison if it's cooked right. I wonder, let it be summer, if there's honestly a tax reason for the change. It seems like right at the end of the year, a lot of businesses, they run their books on a different calendar than the calendar year. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. From one unemployed person to another, I hope it goes well for you. I hope you find a great position that you're super happy with, and it's a step up in all aspects. Now, AJ, you do paralegal work, right? Yes, trading my paralegal replacement now. That's frustrating. I was told I needed to do that as well, and it's always frustrating when they say we're going to get rid of you and train someone else to do your job, and you have to train them, by the way. It's like, really? So you still need me, but you're going to pay someone else less to do my job. I think that's what you're saying. On another note, what's going on, y'all? Do we have movement and action in the court? No, we don't. Both, I can show you, let me turn off, both Law and Crime and WFAA are showing reruns of some of the prior testimony. It looks like Aaron Dean's mom is on one, and then we have a expert witness for defense on the other. Ozzy released a new album at 73. Holy cow. Arkansas, never tried possum or raccoon, but I do joke with my kids all the time. Every time I see a possum on the side of the road that maybe didn't quite make it all the way across the road, I'm like, oh, look, possum, it's just plain dead. No, it's just sleeping, because you never can tell with them. You really can't. I don't think the judge can overrule the jury on sentencing so long as it's within the parameters set in the charge. So if they come back with some outlandish rule, then he can overrule them. But if they don't, that's what he gets. 7 says, how do you like the tech brand Rode? Is it similar to Shure Elgato? Yes, 7. I love it. As you can see here, let me take your comment off the screen here. This soundboard is a Rode. This is a Rodecaster Pro. And it's actually a podcaster audio board. The mic I'm using right here is also Rode. This is a Rode Pro mic, a Rode Pod mic. Let's see, what else do I have that's Rode? I've got some other shotgun mics for my camera as well that's Rode, as well as I have charging over here underneath the computer, underneath my head. I've got the Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones. And I really like them. Their quality is great, their price is great, and the performance is, I mean, this compares performance-wise right up there with the Sony SMB7 microphone, which is the one like Joe Rogan uses on his podcast and things like that. So really good quality and a lot cheaper. So I'm a big fan of Rode. Roadkill? No, that's different. Squirrel is good. I've never eaten squirrel. I've had rabbit. Growing up, we raised rabbits for food. Debbie, I think it's cute that that the part you want me to not look at is perfectly acceptable, even if I look at it. You're a kind soul, Debbie. Sweet and sassy, we have rats. We have squirrels that are like rats. They're just long-tailed, fuzzy-tailed rats. But we have squirrels that like to jump from the pecan tree here in the yard, or the pecan tree, onto the house, and then they like to dig into the house and nest in the attic. And that's the point where I have a problem with the squirrels. They're fine in the tree, but I have to encourage them not to get on the house. Once had pheasant, yuck, gamey. It's not roadkill if you'd shoot it. Okay, so now I'm looking at this saying, a full day of deliberation? This is too much. Cat, they are amazing. They're amazing as a side, they're amazing on a sandwich, and they're amazing all by themselves as the main dish. I'm glad you enjoy them as much as I do, and I am jealous. I truly am. Bow and arrow to diminish the number of squirrels. That takes skill, because the squirrel's reaction time is very, very fast, and the bow and arrow is not the quickest delivery method. I forgot to get my pickles. Debbie, that's the main thing you need to go get. In January, I'm getting a new job, new apartment, and a new car. No pressure. AJ, I hope all of them are fabulous and wonderful, and I can't wait to hear how much you love them. Imagine there's some pretty heated discussions happening in that room right now. I hope they are. I hope they're not saying, what should we do tomorrow? Maybe jurors have already decided, but they're paying back the attorneys for being boring and long-winded. Yeah, it's revenge. That's what it is. They probably decided in the first 10 minutes and they said, hey, let's play some solitaire. Let's do a little duck, duck, goose. Maybe some Pictionary. Yeah, Katerina, that would be the worst case scenario, is if you have somebody who's 100% heart and soul decided on a maximum, and somebody on the opposite side as well, who just can't reach that middle ground. Debbie, I don't know, but the longer they stay, I think the worse the food should get. The first couple days and stuff, when it wasn't their fault really, right? When the court went long, when the attorneys just talked forever, that's when the food should be really good. But when it's on their dime and they're just deliberating, that's when you start getting down to the bologna sandwiches, and you're like, hey, it's bologna sandwiches for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Could they be sequestered? They were sequestered 1782 for the guilty verdict. So they spent a night in the hotel for that, but I don't think they were sequestered over the weekend. Salaried government employees typically continue to receive their normal pay during jury duty. Maybe the jury is running out the clock while on the clock until Christmas vacation. So this is just a bonus for them, is what you're saying. They've got to take their time so Mr. Mata can get back. He might be back in the courtroom. You never know. Maybe the judge will allow it, because at this phase, the only restriction is he couldn't be in the courtroom if he was sworn in as a witness. He couldn't be in the courtroom during. Actually, Law and Crime is currently showing Mr. Mata that segment right now. He couldn't be in the courtroom while other witnesses were testifying because of the rule. The rule that means, that's basically, they call it the rule. It's the big rule, but the rule just says that witnesses can't hear what other witnesses testify to, with a few exceptions. What was the sentence? I wish we knew. We were waiting. We thought the judge would soon read the sentence, and I'm gonna change the name of the live stream to Judge May Never. Judge may never read sentence for Aaron Dean. I'm changing. There it is. So the live stream is now changed to reflect the situation we're in. Let's see. Hannah Bernard says, "What's taking so long? Please, someone answer." I'll answer, Hannah. The jury is still deliberating. They've heard all the evidence for the sentencing portion of the trial. They have the charge from the judge. They're basically, a limited scope that they have to decide within. It's going to be 2 to 20 years, and if it's 10 years or less, they can say probation for some of that. And that's it. That's all they have to decide, but they have to be unanimous on the decision. And they can't decide on, as Katerina said, they can't decide on this unanimous decision. Tiffany, welcome back. Had a long day at work, so glad I made it to see the sentence. Well, you might have made it in time, even if it wasn't until tomorrow. Wait. Here we go. Oh, nope. Bummer. Oh, man. They showed a new video for half a second. No sentence yet. No sentence. It is like Groundhog Day. We'll be doing the same thing again tomorrow if they don't hurry. Yeah, it's frustrating, Hannah. It really is. It's hard to, in our minds, we've made up our minds. But I imagine if you took 12 of us together and made us have to agree and chat on a sentence, it might take some time for us to do that as well. If they gave him 11 years, Katerina, that would mean that because it's more than 10, he wouldn't be eligible for probation for any of it, but he would have to serve for 5.5 years before he's eligible for parole. So that's what an 11-year sentence would do, because he has to serve half the time in custody before he's eligible for parole. Sweet and Sassy says, "I still don't see why Mattis' behavior outside the courthouse has relevance to the sentencing." What we heard, and we heard a little bit more this morning as the defense put some things on the record. Basically, they're saying that Mr. Mata participated in harassing the family with what they said amounts to terroristic threats, which would be criminal. And so that's because he was part of that. And the family are witnesses. Then he's tampering with a witness, which makes him part of this case, and within the judge's rights to pull up and testify. The defense actually said, because of his participation, we wanted to have him testify as a witness to support our ongoing objection. They had a running objection to the fact that this case was not moved to another area. They're saying this is more proof. Yeah, Mr. Mata and his anger towards this family and what he did. This is more proof that this case should have been moved, which is basically trying to bolster that opinion in the case of an appeal, saying that it was inappropriate to hold this case here. So there may be an appeal coming for that reason. Now, I'm teasing you, not nice. I'm sorry, but one of the channels released a new clip and they had a different color logo on it. And I'm like, yay. Nope, it wasn't there. If you put 12 of us together, I would keep disagreeing just to get free pizza. Well, Culver, there's no pizza. There's no free anything. It's just you have to decide. Maybe we can spring for. I think maybe the pickle jar has enough that we could spring for maybe a Little Caesars $5 hot and ready pepperoni, but you'd have to divide it amongst the 12 of you. Tony says that puts the bad chat in there with a little what's that called? A buffering symbol. Do you know if we're gonna have a cold front here? Weather Watch, do you want to try to do a live stream? Do you want to try to jump on? Let me see what we have to do. Start a meeting with video. Give me just a second here. We'll see if we can get Weather Watch on. If you're up for it, Weather Watch.
That he would be a 10 out.
Oh, that was the wrong one. So that's me with the green screen. That looked awful. Okay, hold tight just a second here, guys. We're going to get this figured out. The video here is going to be Black Magic. The audio is going to be Rodecaster Pro, Black Magic. I think that's it. No free food. I'd agree with anybody then, just to get some good cooking. All this food talk is getting people hungry. James says, I'm late to the show. Is the judgment disbarred? Just about, James. We're taking forever to get here. Well, let's see what's happening. What we've had is a whole bunch of nothing, with the jury deliberating now for, it looks like, in 5 hours right now. That's how long they've been deliberating, for 5 hours, and still haven't come up with something they can all agree on as far as sentencing. They just have to pick a number between 2 and 20. And all 12 have to agree, and then they have to agree if the number is 10 or lower, they have to agree how much probation, or if any probation. It shouldn't be that hard, but 5 hours and they still can't find that common number. But the judge is still here. We're wondering, James, what happens with the Mata case. Is that sort of what you're addressing a little bit with his behavior with Mr. Mata? Because all we know is that Mr. Mata's bonds have been reinstated, probably at their initial level. And the judge sort of gave like an excuse reason of why he did what he did, and said it was for safety and everything. I'm wondering if maybe he knew he was on some shaky ground. So, not sure. Weather Watch, let me get everything set up here on my side really quickly. I've got to freeze this video. Make this one larger. And then I've got to send you some information about my Zoom room. Let's see. Okay, that's what I was addressing. This isn't the judge's first time acting inappropriately in the courtroom. Yeah, James, they had some bad blood here. The same judge put a shock collar on a man to force him to speak in court. Are you serious, James? A shock collar? Is there video of that? That seems too much. I mean, I know a judge has, or often they're seen to have, sort of like they rule. They're like the king of their castle when it comes to the courtroom. But that seems too far. Rox is baking some of her favorite bread, getting weather updates for the whole country, and for cold snow throughout the whole weekend, starting Wednesday. There's not video, but it did make headlines a few years ago. Where did he get the shock collar? I mean, is this like a pet collar? I mean, does the judge just have a supply of, torture devices that he can use on whim? Can we check Judge Judy's court? Love her. Unfortunately, no, I can't check that one. That would get me in big trouble. That's bizarre. I'm going to look that up. I'm not saying I don't believe you, James. I'm trying to get that in my head, imagine what sort of scenario could have led up to that, where the judge thought that was like the right and proper thing to do. Yeah, it sounds very much like inhumane. I mean, how do you plead the fifth if you get tortured to make him speak? That's just, wow. And it's the same judge. I'll have to look that up. That's just bizarre. I'm in my head. I'm thinking there's got to be something else to this story. There's got to be a different angle, or maybe it was different, or. But wow. Okay. What if he's being disbarred and that's what's taking so long? Yeah, we needed a judge right at the end, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. Arkansas, I think I was actually surprised that the judge, for how many times she cited the law, she didn't impose some sort of gag. That's what surprised me. And I think if she had acted like the yawn guy has in court, that she would have gagged him, for sure. Just found it online, March 7th, 2018. That's the shock collar one. You have no Fifth Amendment right unless it's to incriminate you. Could be accomplished with immunity. Wait for the on trial. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Okay, that's bizarre. Where do you get a shock collar? I mean, I imagine this has been like for a while. It's building up to something, right? Yeah, the judge just like, hey, I'm going to bring a shock collar to work, or deputies, do one of you happen to have a shock collar with you? That just doesn't seem like standard courtroom equipment. I mean, you've got like the witness stand and the microphone and the judge's gavel and a shock collar. That's like, who does that? They actually shocked him? Wow. I have seen there are companies that make shock cuffs. DB was not wearing them, to the best of our knowledge, but I would not be surprised if the bailiffs told him they were, and shocked him 3 times. Did the judge have the button? This is bizarre. Man. Thank you. Tina just sent me the link to the USA Today story on it. Judge uses electric shock on defendant 3 times. Texas court throws out conviction. Has he been? He's been up for re-election since that. I mean, that was 4 years ago. You must have been retained between there. So yeah, the guy was a creep, but still. The Texas 8 Court of Appeals in El Paso took his side, ruling judges cannot shock defendants who won't answer questions because it violates constitutional rights. Yeah, you think? And he's still on the bench. Oh, man. Either way, it doesn't have to be the judge for it to be a problem. I mean, it could have been bailiff. I'm sure it wasn't one of the attorneys. I'm sure they looked at that and were just like, oh, crap, this is going downhill fast. But personally, I think it should have been 100 times, considering the guy's alleged crimes with children. Yeah, he definitely was no he was no white knight. Let's put it that way. But even people who do atrocious things still have rights, and you can't do that. Same judge, James. That is bizarre. I had no idea. That would change. I can't believe why he's still there. I mean, really, if you full on violate someone's constitutional rights, I mean that sounds criminal. Okay, so we're ripping Texas apart on this, but man, I say get a clean conviction first, then shock him and whatever else you feel like doing. Yeah, even then, that might be cruel and unusual punishment. Typically in this country, we don't. I think haven't they even banned hard labor in prison? Andy, I'm going to show that here. The link's not going to work, I don't think. Well, it might, but it's a Washington Post link. Thanks for putting that in there. Wow. Ola, you're back. What happened? What happened? We missed you. For some reason, you disappeared, and we were all concerned. But you were not on the naughty list. I can tell you, nobody banned you that I could see on my side. Man, made a new account. We think maybe Ola, you were making a little joke in chat, and I think it auto corrected to include a religion or a ethnicity, and possibly Google or YouTube might have taken action on your account, which is bizarre. But you had already corrected it and said, "Hey, I meant this word," and it auto corrected to that one, but it disappeared anyway. So we will cancel the search party, and I'm just glad to have you back. Dude's Clues, 100%. That just blows me away that would happen in here. I mean, you think that might happen like in Russia or something, right? Just because the Russian court stuffs are quite foreign, and the process seems it seems unfair to us who are familiar with the American justice system. So it seems like something like that would happen there, but it's weird. Charlie, it was nice knowing you. You just put Jewish in a text, so he might be mad. No. Yeah, I don't know. We don't know why Ola disappeared, but that's it. Yeah, seriously. We've just been talking here as we're waiting for the jury to come back here in this case with Texas v. Aaron Dean. All they have to decide is between 2 and 20 years, and if it's less than 10 years, if there's any probation. That's it. But they haven't been able to find a number they can all agree on. And we've been talking about the judge. Let's see. James Freeman came in and was telling us about the judge in this case is the same judge that sort of got in trouble for putting a shock collar on someone and shocking them 3 times when they wouldn't answer questions in court. Well, that resulted in a pretty nasty guy getting a conviction overturned, I think, from what I hear. And the judge is still on the bench. Little Miss, what I'm hearing is it's the same judge in this Dean case. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but that's just bizarre. Right, Culver, I agree with that. They are forced to work, but they're not out like sledgehammer breaking rocks type thing. They might be, making license plates and things like that. Hannah, yep, you're in trouble now. There you are. No, I don't know what caused the ban. I don't know. I think the autocorrect, the way it put it, it seems like it was an unfortunate autocorrect. But that's it. I should have the burner number for the burner phone permanently on screen. I might be able to do that. Let me work on that for next live stream. Charlie, do you have an alt account so you can come back and let us know if you get banned? No, he's still here. Here he is. For some reason, even aggressive dogs just come up to me and lick me and wag their tails. I must smell like sausage or something. Oh, that's the trick. You should be able to become a burglar if that's the case. Never worry about getting bit. Yeah, I don't think you can ban Charlie. We like him too much. We are still on verdict watch. That's correct. Thank you for being here. We're waiting forever, and the jury's waiting for dinner, I guess. Put the burner phone in the description. Maybe the mug link in there too while we're at it. We've got to get some more merchandise ready for you. I think we're going to do the politics, not pickles, and I'm just trying to figure out if we want that as a logo on a hoodie, or if we want to do a hat or something like that. We'll look at that. I've got a couple options. Maybe we could do shot glasses for pickle juice, and we also have the coins, right? So I'm working on the coins as well. Lots of things in the works. Yeah, the black van came for Ola, and then she was gone. It was just. Culliver is the king of tinfoil hats. I think, Sweet and Sassy, I think you've really hit the nail on the head there. Well, Ola, I'm glad you're back. It looks like none of us are the wiser because you've got your regular profile picture and everything. So, it looks like nothing happened. I'm getting notifications that I'm getting refunds. Apparently my wife's returning all the Christmas gifts. Maybe the kids were bad today. Gold coins for Hanukkah? Hey, we could do that. Tag, I don't think I've ever cracked a phone. And I had the, I think it was like the second or third edition iPhone. And since then, I've never cracked a phone. I've got the, I think this is the 12 Pro right now. I think I'm due for a new one soon. But I refuse to buy them on a plan. I pay cash up front. I don't like owing anyone any money. So I'll save up until I can pay cash for it and then get one. The shocks are normally used to enforce decorum, sort of like in Darrell Brooks' case, right? Or it should have been. But in 2014, he used it to get a defendant to answer questions. The defendant was so scared he didn't come back for most of his trial. Man. A Messianic Jew, I celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas. Well, that's awesome, Tag. You get the best of both worlds there. It's like December is just a whole month of partying. Debbie was one of our search crew for Ola as she went missing under suspicious circumstances. Glad to have you back, Ola, for sure. MB says, I read an article once that said if you became interested in one conspiracy, you're more likely to like more and more. So it's like one of those bags of chips when you open. No one can eat just one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to check Twitter again, see if there's anything out there on this case, because we're getting late in the day. It's 4:00 here. It's after 3 there. They've been deliberating for 5 hours and 17 minutes. Golden Mom, is Santa skipping my house? No. I think we ordered a couple items in the wrong size, and the wrong size ones got returned. But I will tell you, I told you the other day that I had a gift that was dropped off at my house and that I hadn't paid for it. Well, it was an Amazon order for a toy, and it never showed up. So we filed a claim, and we got the money back, and then like a week later, a neighbor dropped it off and said, hey, this came to my house, should have been yours, or something similar to that effect. I'm not sure how it got here, but it hadn't arrived, and then suddenly it arrived much later. And we'd already been refunded the money. And so I got to call Amazon the other day, I think that was on Saturday, and said, look, I know this is a weird question, but I need you to charge me money and not send me something. how do I make that happen? So we went through the orders, got with the billing department. They were actually able to do it, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't get this call very often, but thanks." So we did pay for it. Now I feel good opening the Christmas presents this morning, knowing that we had paid for everything we have. Conspiracy theorists are usually outsiders looking in on society, or they see it that way many times. Hence the attraction to other conspiracy theories. And I think also there's an aspect of where you get your news, basically, where the sources you view as authoritative. A lot of times, under some conspiracy theories, some of the mainstream news sources that most people are listening to would be questionable for them, and so it requires you to look for other sources for news, and then you find other conspiracies that way. All the conspiracy theories connect at some point. It's one giant conspiracy. It comes off wrong. It's more like become wrapped up in conspiracies. Gullibility, I suppose. I have to steer clear of conspiracies. I'd never get out. I wouldn't say gullibility necessarily. There's probably an element of distrust of authority at some point in that basically the answers that are given to questions that seem somewhat legitimate might not be accepted. Causation versus correlation. Good comment there. There are also millions of conspiracies that get confirmed to be true, so we can't always just throw them all away. Right, and there's a lot of stuff. There's fringe stuff, and without delving into politics, because I'm a big fan of pickles, not politics, here on the channel. But there are stories that are fringe stories that are played off as being a conspiracy theory or a wacko story, on some fringe person with their crazy ideas that over time are proven true, and they never sort of get the aha moment where they get their time in the spotlight. It's sort of after they're sort of tamped down and it was true, and it never sort of surfaces again. Sort of like the fact that the earth is flat says, let it be summer. Honest. No, that's a different one. You and Kolovar are the two who say that the earth is flat. Let's see. Yeah, we might be getting to a little bit of politics here, Hannah. Some conspiracy really upsets me because people believe it can hurt so many people. I have some strong feelings on that, but I don't know how to bring them up without being political, and I'm trying not to do that on this channel, just because politics requires an in-depth conversation, and one where subtleties like sarcasm and the way we say things are important in the discussion, and where we're talking in chat. Sometimes I read something and it sounds literal when you were being sarcastic or something like that. So I don't do political discussion on YouTube here, but maybe if we do a different channel where we could bring you on and actually talk face-to-face, we might go into those areas. All right, do you cheat after you wrap all those gifts? By the time you get to Santa, you just throw the rest in the Santa bag? I did. I ordered a big Santa bag and shoved a gift in. You're like, oh, look, kids, he left his bag. No, I will tell you, Mrs. R.A. feels the opposite that I do regarding Santa Claus wrapping and presents. And because of that, Santa Claus wraps all the presents at our house. So she wins on this fight. It's not a fight, it's a disagreement. Phil Bell, no, you didn't really miss anything. We're waiting for the jury to come back. They've been deliberating for 5 hours and 23 minutes, which seems long. Let's see. Can we go back to talking about food? Yes, we can, for sure. We saw this the other day. Fun fact, there are flat earthers all around the globe. No, you did not miss the sentencing, Phil Bell. We're still waiting. The jury's deliberating. This morning we had about an hour of arguments, closing arguments, and then the jury started deliberating, and we've been in that state ever since. And B, I'm a big fan of people having the right to say things, even if it's not what I agree with. And I'm a big fan of people voting, even if they vote differently than how I would want them to vote. To prove that point, in college I had a fellow college student in one of my classes who I probably couldn't agree with on any subject. Everything political, he pretty much had the opposite viewpoint that I did. You name it, name the topic, and we were at odds with each other. But in discussion with him, and he's a great guy. I love him. He's amazing. Very different life, very different. Everything, very different everything than me. But still a good person. I enjoy talking to him. And in the process of talking to him, I found out that he had never voted in his life. I'm like, wow, how can you? Why wouldn't you vote? And he's like, it really doesn't make a difference. It's all decided, whatever state we were in is, leaned heavily one side or the other. And I'm like, no, you've got to vote. Here's what we need to do. We need to get you, registered to vote. And I helped him get registered, and he started voting and started participating. And now he's, I see him on TikTok or something, and he comes out with this political idea and encouraging people to vote. And I'm thinking, this is awesome. Even though basically all I did was nullify my vote in any election where we both are in this, the same voter block. I think the political process is better when we have more voices participating and diverse voices as well. But I feel the same about the Second Amendment, or the First Amendment, sorry, where people should have a right to say things even if I don't like what they say, because there's someone's not going to like what I'm saying. And they might feel that I should be silenced as well, and I'd rather be able to have that free speech. Tag says, I do origami and still suck at wrapping gifts. I rage quit halfway through and slam dunk the double-sided tape in the trash, the Scotch tape, and go to town. I will say, Tag, there have been times, especially with some of the odd-shaped gifts that we've bought over the years, where, let's see. Nope, still nothing in the courtroom. Odd-shaped gifts where I'm looking at the wrapping paper and looking at the gift and the tape, and it's just like these two don't go together, and I end up just making like a big think of like a dum-dum, like a sucker, a lollipop that has just the paper wrapper wrapped around it and twisted around the stick. Well, it's like that, but there's no stick. I just throw the paper around it and sort of like twist it and sort of wrap it with tape around the top and call it good. I have done that a time or two. And they're like, wow, Santa really didn't wrap that very well. Wow, he made a mistake at your place? He's getting sloppy, Golden Mom. I think everyone who's legally allowed to vote should vote. I agree, but I think it should also be an educated vote. I don't think you should just run down and randomly fill out, fill in the blocks. I think you should do your best effort to learn about what people stand for and then vote for the people who you feel will be, will serve best in that position. Tony says, I'm not giving up. I'll be here till the jury comes back with the sentence. We'll all be here forever. It might be late. I'm beginning to think the jury can't decide between years in prison or probation. My vote has changed thinking Dean will get probation. They already went light on the sentence, right? So they had three options when it came to the sentence. They had not guilty, guilty of manslaughter, or guilty of murder, and they went in the middle. So they compromised and said guilty of manslaughter. And now they have basically three options when it comes to the sentence. They can go probation, 10 years, or 20 years. up to 10 years in prison, or up to 20 years. So I don't know. I will tell you that as a kid, there was a time when in my family, there's a story that's told where the fire alarm went off in the middle of the night, as my parents, for some reason, had Christmas Eve late or early in the morning, had gotten up and thought that the best way to destroy packaging is to put it in the fireplace and burn it. But I think the flue had not been opened yet, and so, much to the chagrin of my parents, the fire alarm goes off as smoke's billowing out of the fireplace, and the kids come running out to see Santa had gotten halfway through his job. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's see. I only believe in silly conspiracies, sir. How dare you? I'm sorry. The best gift you can give to a soon-to-be engineer or computer guy is a 3D printer. Even the cheaper ones are great. I love what you can do with 3D printers. As far as prototyping, they're amazing. My husband and I are on opposite ends of everything, too. We get along fine. That's awesome, Katrina. I love that. I voted for the first time this year because I had one old charge from 12 years ago. It feels great. Hannah, that is awesome. That is awesome. I'm glad you got to vote. Let's see. What's the latest with the dean sentencing? Ashley, the latest is that the jury is still out. They're still deliberating. Jury is still deciding. Still no verdict. Speaking our piece is a big part of America. I'm truly irritated whenever a group or individual is silenced or canceled. So, Amber, you're saying you make packages, you like build the packages and then wrap them to make different shapes? That's like next level stuff. I'm just trying to cover the labels, and sometimes there's a little hole where you can see what it is. I'm not that picky. I'm definitely not in the origami type category. I think this is an old video of Law and Crime showing right now. I'm going to pop it up real quick. Yeah, this is old. This is previously in court. Okay. I just assumed educated voters were voting. Why? I don't know why. I shouldn't assume that. I think you're just... you have the right to vote however you want, and whether or not you educate yourself, that's your right. I think it's a disservice to yourself to vote without being educated. But for some people, it's enough to show up at the voting location and pick up the brochures that are handed just outside the area, because there's like the actual polling location in the United States typically is you're prevented from doing any campaigning within a certain range of the polls, and so right outside that range, you'll have people handing out last minute, hey, vote for my guy type thing. And they'll hand out things saying, hey, here's how to vote. If you feel this way, these are all the things you should check. And maybe that's enough for some people just to, if they agree that way. But I do think it's better served to really research everything. I have a sister and brother that thinks if you don't agree with their politics, they have to change your mind. I have banned politics in my house. I would ban the sister and brother. Like, no more. But I used to be that way, and I've completely changed. Kolovar, you're good. I sense the satire in your comments almost all the time, and when I don't, I give you the benefit of the doubt. It is very possible the jury could be hung. But the longer we go, the more that possibility seems to be a likelihood. Little GH Town, 5, that's young. that's young to let that out of the bag. Let it be summer. We know that on the initial night of deliberations for the guilt phase, the judge said he was going to let them debate till midnight if they wanted to. And then at 7, he said, hey, okay, go to the hotel. I'm not sure if he can even ask them and say, hey, where are you at? Are you close? Type thing. It's either they've decided or they haven't. He really isn't supposed to be involved in that. And even him asking, are you close to something, might infer that they should be when they're not. The jury's wrapping presents. Did you hear about the Nebraska case of the midwife that is on trial for murder because the baby died during delivery? I'm going over it now, but it's just wow. Culver, I followed a little bit. I could spoil it for you because I heard the verdict on that one, I believe. James, if you were educated, you wouldn't vote at all. If you really knew, if you knew all of what's happening. I know there's a saying, you don't want to see how sausage is made type thing behind the curtain. But I think it's enlightening. I really think it is. I don't like the dirty politics. I just don't have time in my life for some of that. Dad would wrap a very big box for my mom. Oranges, apples, and little stuff at the bottom was the big gift. I did that once with my wife. I bought her a set of pots and pans, and inside the smallest pot was some diamond earrings. Yeah. They saw the menu is what happened, Pauline. They saw the menu plan for the rest of the week, and they're like, hey, if we can hang out till Thursday, right? If we can get here till Thursday, that's when the lobster comes in. James thinks I appreciate it. This is a fun little setup. I've got my latest edition. I'm not sure if you know what this one is. My latest edition is this Black Magic. It's a HyperDeck Shuffle HD, which allows me to play videos in slow motion. Let's see. Let me do this one right here. It allows me to take a video like this. This was the police dog attacking the wrong guy the other day, and I can roll it backwards and forwards and just. I can slow it down and just really see how it happened, and so it records everything, and I can play it back, fast, slow, you name it. But that's the latest edition, and I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to use it. Will you be using it in police chases? Every time there's some action, we'll go ahead and go back and replay the crashes and things like that. But thank you. It's been a lot of years putting this together. Were there a lot of victim impact statements for recovery addicts? Paula, in this case, the victim impact statements are going to come after the sentencing, just like what we saw with the Border Patrol, Juan David Ortiz. The sentence came first. That was an automatic sentence, and then right after the sentence, there's victim impact statements. For the jury is not to consider those victim impact statements, so they make the decision first. That's how I understand it happening here. MB, recovery addict wraps a gift with 4 small pieces of different wrapping paper and only hits the main parts with paper. This is exactly how I do it. I'm not adverse to even wrapping the wrapping paper wrong way out on a single-sided wrapping paper. Do you think there should be another level of homicide to cover innocent mistakes that could nevertheless be paid for, but not with prison? Professor Phil, I think that's basically what manslaughter with probation would be. It's a conviction, but it's very light conviction. Basically, there would be penalties, but there's no prison time. So I don't see the need, as long as that's an option, I don't see the need of having like you've got murder, manslaughter, and then whoops, you died, type thing. I think those two are sufficient as long as probation's an option. My mom wanted my secret salsa recipe and a new food processor for 2 years. I bought her one with everything she needed and told her she was making the salsa last year. That's awesome. I love that. I make a garden fresh salsa as well. That's a little bit spicy for my family. They don't like habaneros. I might be spicy over here sometimes and political on Twitter, not here, but I have that same rule for my channel. Nothing except 40K lore. I'm proud of that too. Culliver, that's awesome. I've seen your channel and it's consistent. That is neat. And it makes it so the people who come to your channel know exactly what they're going to get, which I'm sure they appreciate. Debbie says, I voted Republican and Democrat. Research and whoever I believe can do the best. That's who gets my vote. I'm the same way. I will tell you that in North Carolina, you have to register one side or the other, or else you're not able to vote. So I have to register, but crossing that line from Republican to Democrat in a general election is something I'm very willing to do if there's a better person. Patty wants her presents wrapped all the time. So whoever is buying her gifts, please make sure you put several layers of paper on. Always be proud that your channel is non-political and just covering juries. Everybody feels more welcome that way. Well, Culliver, I know there's going to be opposition. I mean, the fact that we're bringing up court cases like this, it brings up some stories where there's some strong feelings. There's some strong feelings about what is right and what is wrong. And we try to have it allowed in here, just as long as it's civil, basically. It's like we can have discussions even about things we really disagree on, but as long as we do it in a civilized way, with no personal attacks, and realize that, at the end of the day, I might not change your opinion and you might not change mine, and that's okay. We still want to come back and talk again tomorrow. I think that's really the goal here. Dude's Clue. Some call me a First Amendment auditor. Some call me other things, which is more accurate. Most just call me James. James, you're awesome. I appreciate you being here. For those that don't know, I think James, you are the subscriber with the most subscribers, in the hundreds of thousands, if I remember correctly. And I do believe a lot of your material would be in that First Amendment auditor realm, which is popular. And not just popular, it's a lot of people are interested in it. That's why you've got the subscriber numbers you do. But happy to have you here. I'd love to have your input on these topics. What did we decide on the poll on sentencing? We pretty much, I think most of us were 2 to 8 years, which would, 2 to 8 years would be on the lower side. No sentence yet, Suzanne. We're still waiting. The Allen charge is a possibility. I'd like to hear this judge deliver it. And maybe, knowing his background now, maybe he's going to get like 12 shock collars and hand them to the jury and say, hey, in case you haven't heard about me, this is how we do things around here. I'm ordering you to try again, and I have the button. MB says, I get banned from Reddit and Twitter regularly for hurting people's feelings. It happens. So, Roxanne, you're telling me that I could register here in North Carolina as unaffiliated and still be able to vote in a party primary? My understanding is the party primary, the party has its own right to choose who they elect. So I think they should be able to limit who votes in their primary for who they put on the ballot for the general election to people who are affiliated with that party. I thought that was how it went. Mutt says I'm neither right nor left, but I'm an independent, free-thinking American. That's great. It's great. Great. We need more free thinkers. Still nothing. One of the next videos I want to do is Officer's Guide to First Amendment Audits, how not to get sued. You might have to team up with James on that one to get both sides. That would be awesome because Matthew, my understanding is you've got prior law enforcement, right? Or is it prior military? Or both? Gordon, the 2 to 8 years were what we thought the jury would come back with. That's sort of how we couched that opinion or that question. I'm all about liberty, freedom, and personal responsibility. Great things in my book, all three. Right, Kimberly, that's my understanding as well. I mean, you can register to vote, say, if you register as a Democrat, when you go to a primary election, you would be presented with the options within the Democratic Party for a specific thing. So there might be 4 Democrats that are running for governor. In the primary, you would choose between those 4. In the general election, you can be independent and vote for anybody, but you wouldn't be able to vote in the primary as an independent for a Republican or as a Democrat for a Republican or vice versa. That's my understanding. Every state is different. James says, Matthew Harris, I've been working with a lawyer in New Mexico doing in-person classes teaching exactly that to New Mexico cops. That's awesome. You lived in Cary, North Carolina. All right. So you probably know the rules in my state better than I do, quite honestly. So I'm out here eastern North Carolina. Right, so the voters can't spoil an opposing party's candidate selection. That's how I understood it. And I used to be pretty heavily involved in party politics, even being I was the ethics committee chairman for a large political organization. Let's put it that way. And so I got to deal with internal problems, which there were a lot of, and it was frustrating to think that all of us, within this group, supposedly think similarly. And yet here we are threatening to sue each other and, sue and make someone lose their house because we don't like how somebody said something about us. It was pretty ugly. I keep my politics private. The world got ugly after last election. Great friendships and family relationships were ruined. Right, and those matter. They really do. Suzanne says, I got my pink Crime mug, and that one is mine for Christmas. The red one's for my dad. Awesome. I mentioned one of you ordered the pink and the blue Crime Addicts mug, and one of them didn't arrive. I have tried to chase that down for you, and hopefully it will be fixed here shortly. So I do apologize. I don't know where that package went. It sort of got lost after it got shipped out. Maybe one of your neighbors has it, and they're loving it. So Merry Christmas to them from you. But we'll make it right. Close to 6 hours the jury's been out. Yeah, we're looking at 5 hours and 47 minutes right now. Maureen's got us back on the big screen. Just checking if we've seen anything or heard anything yet. Not yet. And remarkably, Twitter's been quiet as well, which normally we would expect to hear if the jury had asked some questions or sent something out. But let's see. Okay, it looks like we've got one thing here. This was just came out a minute ago. It says about hour and a half ago, jurors deliberating the punishment after convicting former Fort Worth Police Department officer Aaron Dean of manslaughter for the 2019 Atatiana Jefferson shooting death. So the jurors asked to see the body cam video and the Fort Worth Police Department general orders. Now this may seem strange, but you saw on the prosecution, as they finished their presenting of evidence during the sentencing phase, they said, we'd like to renew all the exhibits. Basically, all the evidence that we had in the other trial is brought into the sentencing phase as well. So it seems strange that they're asking for the body cam footage now when they're looking at the sentencing, but this is appropriate. So this was included. This is something they're able to look at. We only have Pickles, Not Politics out. It's a mug or a T-shirt. Debbie, I'm working on the artwork for that one. I'd like it to be fairly simple and easy to read, but feature a pickle and some text, and just trying to figure it out that way. Politics is the art of controlling others through coercion and violence. I can't imagine how those in politics wouldn't get along. Yeah, it was pretty rough when I was there. I mean, there was a time where I honestly thought that I was going to lose my home because of a lawsuit from someone that, you know, supposedly thinks just like me and votes just like me, and they weren't happy with what I had done in my volunteer position, and threatened to sue me for everything I had. It looks like tomorrow's going to be Sentencing Watch and Sarah Boone at the same time. That's going to be rough because, quite honestly, Sarah Boone is the big fish. Sarah Boone's the big fish here. So I don't know how we can do this. I can't wait. We're going to have it. It's going to be exciting. Possibly as this week wears on, I might be taking some days off because of the holidays, and focus a little bit on getting some of that merchandise hammered out for you. Did you hear the jury sent out a note an hour ago? They asked for body cam and procedures book. Yeah, I just saw that, Melody. And it's interesting that they're doing that. Especially when you think back to the closing statements by the prosecution, the state, where they said he disregarded all the policies. And I thought when they said that, I thought that seems like a stretch. He disregarded all the policies, all the training manual. What's up? Okay. Do we know the makeup of the jury, race and sex? I'm afraid the jury could be swayed by threats of violence. Mutt, I think what we've heard is that it's an all-white jury, which isn't an issue, but that's basically all we know. I believe the foreman is male. I got sued for $50 million when I was 18. I lost, but they never came for the money. It was more like a verdict with no teeth. You know, you didn't have anything. $50 million. What'd you do that got you sued for $50 million? Dude's Clues. That's a big number for an 18-year-old. No problem, Weather Watch. Let me know if you want to give it a try. It can be another day if you're busy. Not going to lie, a lot of what I do is an effort to make sure that nobody wants to take a position in government. The only natural result would be a smaller government. Right. The people that want to be in government usually are the ones that shouldn't be there. That's how it works out. And even the ones that are really good, once they get into government, it seems to go bad. It's like power corrupts type thing. And you know, you find somebody who's like, oh, you'll be perfect. And the first year they are, and the second year they're sort of, and the third year it's like you're no different than the guy you replaced. But someone's going in and out of my house. You guys hear that beep? Can you hear it over the audio? Just curious. I've got a home alarm that lets me know which doors are opening in my house. Smaller government is a good idea. I agree. Race and gender of the jury makes no difference. Right, I was just stating what we knew so far about them. In Australia, we have 3 explicit levels of manslaughter. The third one deals with excessive force while defending yourself. So that's the excessive force thing. I think here in the U.S. it's more if you have the right to defend yourself, then you're in the right. I don't think we really delineate that excessive force while defending yourself. I was at a party where someone was murdered. Oh my goodness, Dude's Clues. That is crazy. Yep. So that happened. Charlie's like, yeah, we've all been to those parties. I've had some crazy things happen in my life as well. Just, I told you, being interrogated. It was actually Christmas Eve, 1999. I spent the late hours of Christmas to the early hours, or the late hours of Christmas Eve to the early hours of Christmas morning, being interrogated in a police station, because I knew too much about a bomb that I had found and turned in. Okay, so still nothing. We know that the jury's at least thinking of things. I'm wondering if they also requested the menu for the evening. if that was an hour and a half ago. Let's see. We're approaching the 6th hours of jury deliberations. Jury asked after lunch to rewatch the body cam video of the killing of Atatiana Jefferson and to see the Fort Worth general orders. I wonder, I mean, honestly, you know, I've got this little toy on my desk that lets me really slow down and stop and go back and forth and look at video. The jury doesn't have that. They basically got a computer they can play, and they might be able to change the speed they play it at, but they don't have this sort of tool. And I wonder if they would, if it would make a difference. Dude, I hate that when I know too much about a bomb. I mean, yeah, it sucks, man. It's everyone looks at you like, yeah, it was that situation, but it was not fun. Although there was a comedy of errors that led up to it. That, looking back on it, I can see why the police acted the way they did. I slept the whole thing on my car in the street. Gunfire, and the victim was stabbed in the neck. When I was ripped from my car, the news was already there. You're like, what happened? Debbie, did it make the news? I think I'm thinking of someone else. Debbie, I do not believe the story that I was part of made the news. Although I have like the police reports and stuff on it. You could probably go back and find the conviction records, or the individuals who served time as a result of it. But it didn't really make the news very much. Mostly because it was Christmas Eve, and you know the news is everyone's at home. No one wants to launch the helicopter to go film a story that happens Christmas Eve. Man, Dude's Clues, that is a bizarre story, and then to get sued after the fact. MB says, I hear the beep. All right. Okay, so 4 o'clock. We're approaching dinner time. You got sued because no witnesses were talking, and they thought the lawsuit would get people talking. You're like, I slept through it. There's nothing to talk about. Yeah, this was not that sort of scenario. Nobody got injured in the incident. The only person that could have been injured in the incident that I saw and had knowledge of was myself. I was actually at the bomb when they were trying to set it off electronically from a ways away. But due to science, it saved my life with too low a voltage and too much resistance in the cable run that they had ran to the detonator. No way they're taking this long and they're finding common ground. I don't know. They're at least asking for things to look at. So maybe they're trying to convince somebody. All right, Ann, thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry nothing exciting happened today. We might be stretching into this evening. Do you want me to, MB, I could do this. I can go back and play that. Of course, the best video, the body cam footage hasn't been released to the media directly. So the only video we have is courtroom video that was played in court. So the camera sort of zooms out as soon as you see things happen. But I could do that. We can go back and do that. Let me get that set up right now. Just 1 second. Of course, I'm pretty sure this is going to demonetize this video, but worse things have happened. Let's see, I think it was, I got to figure out what day it was that they showed that. Was that on Tuesday? A week ago on Tuesday? I am still here. We're still waiting. This wait is much more bearable if you're high. I forgot what we're even waiting for. Just giggling. And hungry. Got the munchies, right? Okay. Give me a second here while I try to retrieve this body cam video. Okay, gag order violated. Several people may be found in contempt of court for violating gag. Let's see. Have to go back in time here. Before the punishment phase, before defense. What day, does somebody know what day the body cam was shown in trial, as far as day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Aaron Dean trial? Just trying to find the video, and I'll put it on the recorder. We'll watch it in slow motion, frame by frame, just to see if you guys see any laser or are able to pick out different things. It won't have the sound on it. Maybe that will save me from being demonetized. I don't know, but either way, we'll show it here. Day 4. I think it was day 3. Seems like day 4, says Georgia. Let me check day 4 really quickly. Let's see, day 4. That was the audio guy, the sound and video expert. So that was body cam. Let me just see if that's the right one. No, I want to watch it all the way through. So I'm thinking it might be day 3. Because day 4 was a rebuttal witness. I think it was before that they first showed the video all the way through. We got the best look at it. I think Fox 4 had the best feed as well. Let's see. Let's see if it's day 3. Don't think it was day 3. Maybe day 2. Are we that far back? MB says, this whole time I just wanted to know if you could see the laser. I think the attorneys forgot to address it. Well, they addressed it in the opening statements. The defense says, you're going to see that Aaron Dean had a laser pointed at his chest. All right, there's day 3, part 1. Let's see if this is it. Lots of photos, lots of photos. Okay, I'm going to need somebody who can research faster than I can. I'm scrolling through this video trying to find we need the day when the entire live stream or the video of the body cam was played in court. Okay, it was before day 3. It's got to be day 2. Here we go. I think this is it. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me go ahead and record this. I'll have this ready in just a minute. I've got to record it in real time, though. So it's recording now. I can keep talking because it's just recording the camera feed. It's not recording me. Why did it just cut out? Come on. Okay. Gonna record this again. Okay, so they've got him walking around the house. There's the air conditioner. There's the shot. Okay, I think I just got the video we need. Okay, all right. So let's give this a try. I think I've got it. Let's go back here and play camera 2.
Along the perimeter of Atatiana Jefferson's home.
Okay, so this is the news story. I'm gonna play through it right here. You can see on the right here we have the. I'm gonna put this full screen so I can really see what's happening. That's gonna be program. Okay, on the right we have the air conditioner. So he's about to look up. He's looking up at the window. We're gonna play it through fast a little bit here. The light goes off. He's looking. Okay, so right here, this red you see, I believe that's the LED on his gun-mounted light first turning on. I believe that's the case because the laser on the firearm that was in the house is a green laser. We're stepping through it here. I'm going forward right now. Oh, what's that? That might be the muzzle blast. And there she's going down and falls. I'm not seeing the laser there. And there we're looking in the window. You can see her there on the left. Let's back up here. That's a reflection. I agree. I'm not seeing the green. I think the colors we see right here, I think that's more of a prismatic effect of a reflection. That's definitely not a laser. Going backwards frame by frame here right now. Maybe in here. No. There's so much reflection. It's so hard to see. Even in the darkness here. Maybe that frame. This is when his handheld light went out, as he's trying to turn on the gun-mounted light. Because he had the momentary switch held down. Back up a little bit. What's that? No, keep going back, keep going back. Yeah, I would have to say I'm not seeing any laser here. This is his body cam, Charlie. This is the footage of his body cam. Now, granted, we're watching a camera filming a projector of the body cam. So we're not using exactly. Let's see. What is this light right there? It's just a reflection off to the side. That wouldn't be through the window. Okay, so we'll go back and watch it here, full speed.
Officer Carol Darch along the perimeter of Atatiana Jefferson's home. Dean enters the backyard first. The single gunshot through the window, striking Jefferson in the chest.
Okay, so all right, that's what we can do, but it didn't give us much more information as far as what actually happened there. Sorry, what did I miss in chat while I was looking away? Let's see. Okay. Tiffany Marie says, Matthew Harrison, re-heretic. Would there be a mistrial if the jury is hung on the sentence? Yes, I think this has probably been answered already, though. Let's see. If the jury is hung on the sentence, even though they came to a verdict on the actual criminal charge, I'm wondering what happens. Let's see if somebody answered that already. Yes, there would be, but it would just be for the sentencing phase is the correct answer. That was a reflection of his body light indicator light. Okay. Yeah, I didn't, Charlie, on that, watching that frame by frame, I didn't see anything that stood out to me like a laser, that looked like a laser. The body cam doesn't capture everything the officer sees. I agree with this. I think that was one of the defense's main points. Right. And the body cam is at a serious disadvantage because of the way reflection of light works. So he's basically reflecting light off the window right into the body cam, so it blinds it. And so there's a lot that the body cam did not see. And I do believe that Mr. Dean had a better vantage point, possibly if she was carrying a firearm or pointing at him to see that than we saw. Okay. So still nothing from the courtroom. MB, thank you, McCover Addict, for letting me twist your arm to use your new toy on body cam footage. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to find some better video where it'll be more interesting or more better than that. The 480p camera is what kids get in cereal boxes these days. It's awful. It really is. The fact that this the hardware is capable of a 2K image resolution, which is double the resolution I stream at. And they only pay for the lower. Granted, it's a cost thing. It's space for storage. For instance, just that little bit that I recorded there, to be able to play it back in slow motion like that, frame by frame, probably took up a couple gigabytes of space on the recording. But I've got a terabyte drive for it, so it's good. Hard to tell, but can't see a laser myself. Abby, I'm with you there. What happened upstairs? What do you mean? Let it be summer. What was the upstairs? Perhaps after seeing that, we need a new poll. It's too late. He's already been convicted. Charlie, you're right. Sometimes both of them provide a better complete picture than either one of them on their own. MB, I'd probably ask for Matthew's advice on this one as far as who pays for what when it comes to expert witnesses. If you have a court-appointed attorney, that's going to be included in the fees that are sent in, and the attorneys are going to turn in those receipts. Basically, say here are our costs for attorneys, here's our cost for this. Trying to get the reimbursement. Debbie said, "Oh, that's bad. I thought her gun was up and the laser from her gun was clearly seen. There's more footage. If there's more footage, I want to see it because that's changing my mind." Yeah, that was all the footage, but I would not say that is the best copy, like the best possible evidence of the existing footage. Clearly, the initial recording in the frame rate that it was captured in is going to be better than me capturing through a screen, through another camera, and there's many links to the chain where the quality of that video has been downgraded. So really, I wouldn't make a decision based on what I've got there. You actually have to request funds and approval for the court first before hiring an expert witness if you're a court-appointed attorney in most cases. So you'd basically say, here's their rate. This is why we feel we need to use him. We have to X, Y, Z, and then the judge says yay or nay. And I'm guessing he doesn't let you go for the top dollar, you know, the $5,000 an hour guys. Looking at the news from the Mata issue with his lawyer, Mr. Mata's lawyer has made a comment. I'm just trying to catch up on that right now. He was arrested for making terroristic threats, according to a defense lawyer. Threats against Dean's family. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. If the jury hangs, can they request a change of venue for a new jury? It's a great question. Roger says, Recovery Addict, can I get a shout out, brother? Roger is our favorite almost moderator in chat. You can see he's got the gray wrench. He's a gray wrench mod, which enables him to type what he wants to type for his own chat messages, but not really control anyone else's. Good to have you here, Roger. Welcome back. Gray Wrench Mod Mafia in the house. I'm curious about this, if they could do a change of venue at that stage, because they would have to just repeat that stage of the trial as far as the witnesses that they brought in. But then at the same time, all the evidence from the preceding trial would also be available to that jury, even though they don't get to hear it. I don't know. I don't think there was ever a question if she had a gun in her hand with laser on. That's how they found the gun, isn't it? At her feet with laser on. MB, yes, that's where they found it, with the laser on, and they also found an expelled, unspent cartridge on the ground. So that would happen by cycling the action on a semi-automatic firearm when there is already a live round in the chamber. So that would indicate that she very likely drew the gun from her purse, and then to make sure it was ready to fire if needed, she cycled the action one time, but it was already ready. And so one of the rounds came out and another round was loaded, because they did find it loaded. Little GH Town, he says that was the protesters that Mata was filming making the threats. So that fit, what you're saying right there, fits more with what I see as Manuel Mata's MO, what he does. He likes to be in the midst of things like that. He likes to film the action. He is a YouTuber. He does live stream on Facebook. And so he, as a fellow cameraman, that's probably what I would do as well. They're alleging that he was part of them making the threats. And especially that seems hard to prove to me, especially when they say that a lot of the people had full balaclavas on, so you couldn't see their face, which would also cover their mouth. And so you've just got voices that you can't really pin to the people. Roger's throwing Roger. Keep it safe, bud. I almost read your comment, but I saw how political it was. I thought the beep was the pickle truck backing up. It should be. It should be the pickle delivery truck at my house. It actually goes beep, 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 and then it says whatever door is open, like front door, back door, garage door, basement door. It's all on there. Couldn't the judge take over? The jury is deadlocked. Debbie, Matthew says no on this one. The judge can't. He would issue an Allen charge trying to get them to come to an agreement. If they don't, then it's a mistrial for this portion. Oh, to be a fly on the wall, says 782. Right. Oh, you could be a fly on the food, because apparently they're ordering dinner right now. MB, I really want to know why the attorney brought up the laser in opening but didn't address it. MB, I realize that I'm not saying that the dean should have lied on the stand or made up evidence that wasn't there, but it surprised me for someone who had just taken, you know, had just made the decision to use the ultimate use of force as a police officer, you know, the maximum use of force available to him, to have so little information about his target, and to know nothing about what was happening, and just to say I saw a silhouette and I saw the barrel of a gun, that to me was like, oh man, oh boy, wait. You saw nothing, basically. If he had said that he saw the gun and it was being raised and it was pointed at him, or if there was more, the fact I realized that, you know, the explanation of why he only saw the gun and didn't see the hands type thing, but that to me is like, are you sure that's what you saw? I mean, we know that guns don't float in the air type thing, but it seems that his description of the event might have been more complete, especially if there were any other facts that he did observe at the time that would have been better, you know, served him better in this case. Isabel says, wait, are they deadlocked? I just joined back. I hope they're not deadlocked. We're hoping there's a solution here. So if there's a mistrial on sentencing, would there be a new jury just for that? Yes. Wouldn't the prosecution have to present the case again if so? They wouldn't relitigate the guilt phase because that's already been determined. So he's already guilty. Now they'd just have to redo the sentencing phase. Get a Vlasic sponsorship. I'm not sure if they could afford me. When they see my pickle consumption volume, they'll be like, yeah, maybe we'll just give you a discount, not a sponsorship. Yeah, there was so much that he just didn't answer. He's just like, yeah, I just did it wrong, and there was no explanation for. Yeah, I don't think he was lying at all. He came across very truthful, especially the fact when on cross-exam, MB, he admitted to doing things wrong and like he could have done better. He's like, you know, that wasn't good police work. That to me came across as that seems very truthful. Like you're not trying to cover up and make it look better than it was. I think the cold medicine's wearing off. Starting to feel it again. Okay, still nothing on Twitter. Law and Crime has stopped their running total on how long it's taken. Fractured. The whole thing about the police officers talking to the neighbors on arrival. It depends on the call. I've listened to the police scanner quite a bit. I mean, that's sort of one of my other my other hobbies is listening to audio traffic on police channels. And when calls come out, they're different. And sometimes they say like the complainant wants contact, or sometimes they say complainant doesn't want contact, and sometimes they'll say that it's a neighbor who anonymously wants to report this type thing. So I don't know. I wish I could see the actual call. I know that was in evidence, but we didn't get to hear or see the actual, the total sheet of what it consisted of. But I'm not sure if that might have been the case. Sometimes, neighbors don't want contact. And the fact that it's like 2:30 in the morning when this is happening, they might not have thought, hey, let's go wake up the neighbor and talk to him about this. Free pickles, that's always a good idea. I might need some tag. I can feel it. Tomorrow might be a rough day for me, which is bad because it's the Sarah Boone Day, which we're super excited about. Yeah, if we could just have like an exclusive sit down with the jury, just a little Q&A where all of us could just ask them questions, they'd answer, that would be great. It's there a few in the cocoa time. Treva's like, what is up with the pickles and pickle juice? Treva, here's what happened. First of all, thanks for being here. This is a fun place. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for popping in on chat. When I first started live streaming, which was only about a month ago or so, I took a break and I'd have a sandwich with pickles, and we were talking about it, and there was a little discussion about pickles, and I expressed my opinion about how they were, God's gift to mankind, and how wonderful they are, and people kept bringing it up, and so it sort of became a thing on the channel unintentionally. And we have a local resident, Stephen Lee. I don't think he's in chat here today, but Stephen Lee is a little artist, and he sent some artwork, which I'll show you here on the screen. It looks like this right here. And he's like, hey, here's a little logo you can use for your channel, which I like, and I use that on my open. But it has a pickle. It's a sandwich and a pickle in the YouTube thing. And so pickles have sort of been a thing. And during the process of all this discussion, I discovered a new flavor of pickle that changed my life. It just opened my mind up to so much more. I didn't realize there was more to dill. That pickles are a big deal, sort of thing. And I found these spicy maple bourbon pickles that you can buy at Walmart, and they are unbelievably good. And so I'm just unabashedly just bragging about these pickles, and people are trying them, and they're agreeing with me. They're great, and we're pickle lovers here. So that's it. We actually are here for true crime, but occasionally we talk about pickles almost a little too much. Let's see. Fractured. I understand the people outside were waiting and watching. A crowd on a small porch seems like someone knew the police were coming and would be willing to talk. But we did hear, we didn't carry it on the show, but there was a day in court where that neighbor did testify. And he says when the cops showed up, they didn't even realize the cops were there. They just saw two shadowy figures type thing. So I'm sure the two shadowy figures probably didn't see the people on the porch either. Go take your meds. We'll be good, I promise. No, as soon as I leave to take my meds, the judge is going to come back and I'm now going to read the verdict. I'll miss it. I am addicted to pickles, and I'm not trying to change. Michael says, curious about Mata, yet after some research, I think it's best to back away swiftly. Mr. Dean made a grave mistake, one he was guilty for. As for a proper sentence, my personal thought is 5 to 10. We'll see here soon. Hopefully the jury can reach a unanimous decision on the matter. Let's see. Carolyn Vandegraft, who was with CBS Dallas Fort Worth, just posted a couple of minutes ago, said the jury's been out since around 10 a.m. deliberating Eric Dean's sentence. He was convicted of manslaughter last week, which comes with 2 to 20 years. People have been waiting in the hall all day to find out what the jurors decide, but still nothing. It just looks like a train station. Let's see. Everyone's waiting for a train, but they're waiting for a verdict. Treva's like, oh, yum, now I want a pickle. Well, Treva, if you're willing to eat a pickle, just on my recommendation, go to your local Walmart and get the Sam's Choice brand, which is a Walmart brand pickle, and it's a spicy maple bourbon pickle. And they come pre-sliced, and they are amazing. They are incredible. They are they're a sandwich pickle. They're a little bit sweeter, but they're not too sweet. And just the mix of flavor, it's fantastic. I wonder if a pickle has ever been brought up in evidence of a true crime case. If it was probably a murder case, I'm guessing, Mutt, because some of those pickles are to die for. Yeah, I went there. What time will the jury come back? If I knew, viewer, I would tell you. They have been out for, 7 hours? Since 10 o'clock? 7 hours of deliberation. They took 13 hours to deliberate on his guilt. But now we're just waiting. Everyone's waiting. Nobody knows. All we know is that about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago, they asked for the body camera video. They wanted to see that in the jury deliberation room, and they also wanted the general orders from the Dallas-Fort Worth Police Department. So that's what we know they're looking at and discussing. You Texans in here know a local news that can tell us what's up outside the courthouse? I can look and see if we have something. Let's see. Let me try a different channel here. Okay. It's taking a minute here. FOMO is a real thing. RA has a fear of missing out on jurors' decision. MB, it's because I did miss out a couple weeks ago. I told you I was just going to run to a quick meeting and then come back. And while I was at the meeting, the verdict came in. So yeah, it's real. I think the jury's in a pickle. Call Mrs. RA and politely request medication delivery in a pickle. I should. It's going to be rough. It might be a rough week. I just hope I feel better before Christmas, because that would be bad. Are they spicy, flavorful, or spicy? I wouldn't have taste buds after eating the spicy bourbon pickle. MB, they are flavorful, but I will say they have a little bit of a punch, and it's sort of like the back of the tongue type heat. That's aftertaste. It's not during, it's after. And the interesting thing about that is the areas of the tongue where you have the different flavors as you eat the pickle. It's fantastic. But it's not. It doesn't build up so much that it's like, oh, if I have one, I'm okay, but if I have three, my mouth is going to be on fire. No, it never really gets to that point, and it actually dies away really quick. The heat doesn't last very long. So I would say it's like eating one of those a medium to a hot salsa, but not like a habanero type thing. Have I tried the Clausen pickles yet? No, Josh, I haven't. I need to look for those and see where I can find them. Love those big dill pickles you can buy at the Walmart gas stations that come packed in a package. I think I need to do that. I think I need to try some of those, because some of them you can get in some really cool flavors, like spicy and everything. Let's see what happened here. Still nothing with Aaron Dean. Just noticed the title of your stream. I changed it to be more accurate. Weather Watch. I was like, initially I was saying, judge reads the verdict type thing, but that's not true. Judge may never read sentence for Aaron Dean. That's what it says right now, which I think is closer to the truth than where we were earlier. I'm not finding any news stations that are carrying any live streams. I eat medium salsa and medium buffalo hot wings, so you should be fine. It's very similar. It's just you're not expecting heat when you eat a pickle. That's what it is. But it's maybe along the same lines of a little chili pepper or a jalapeno. Maybe not even as hot as a jalapeno. I question gas station pickles. I question everything you eat at a gas station, especially if they've heated it up for you and when they started heating it, which day of the week. If KF7 AIF comes on here, he and I have a story involving a gas station food that we might have to share sometime, because he consumed something and I was with him. Let's see. I'm going to be mad if it's hotter. Don't be mad. It's really good. It's really good. It's not bad. I would say do not eat the peppers in there, because they're like two little tiny peppers in the jar. Don't eat those peppers. They are quite hot, but the pickles themselves don't soak up that much heat. My shirt is ripped. I ripped my shirt. No, actually, it has a vent. It's a fishing shirt, and so the back has this vent thing that lets air in and out, and so it's can't even show it really here, but it has a slit for ventilation. It's really cool. That's why I like these ones. It's that I'm flexing. That's what it is. I'm like, just make it flex. So are they ready to come out? I hope so, Katerina. We're waiting for the jury. We have a shirt for your ice fishing. When I do ice fish in a short sleeve shirt. I take my coat and everything off because it gets so hot in the ice fishing shack with a little tiny propane heater that you can't stay in there. Okay, I'm looking at all the latest from Aaron Dean on the Twitterverse. And nobody knows anything. Tag, I like pickled jalapenos. I've got some in the fridge that the good friend made for me. They're pretty spicy, seeds and all. So they're pretty good. They're sliced. Izzy, on the initial verdict for the guilt phase, they deliberated for about 13 hours to get to the manslaughter conviction. So now we're going about 7 hours roughly. Max says, okay, I saw the laser at full speed. It was not his light reflection. It was moving without his light, moving and pinpoint. So we could go back and watch the video one more time. Let's see here. Give me just 1 second here. Do you see it over on top of the air conditioner? Is that where you're seeing it? Mac? Sorry. Let's see if I can bring in. Let's see if we can get WFAA here really quickly.
His remorse and being
guilt innocence.
In his guilt innocence, the only time that he testified.
So Ava wants to know, what was the big case you mentioned that you did? You got to be talking about Shamir.
Right. It was the Billy Shamir case where he was indicted, I think, 13 capital murders here in Dallas.
This guy on the right,
6 or 7 in Collin County.
He defended somebody in the
common scheme was he was accused
crazy
of
case, and he lost.
Smothering old people and then stealing their jewelry, and for the most part, they were classified as natural deaths due to their age. But there.
Yeah, so that's his moment to fame. He had a notorious client. Hamburger deals right out of the jar. They are delicious as well, but you won't go wrong on these spicy maple bourbons. Okay, when I look frame by frame from gate, door to window, light was in the yard without his flashlight and with it. So that would indicate that the laser was pointed out the window. Let me go back and watch this. Let's see, we'll play it here.
Home. Dean enters the backyard first. The single gunshot through the window, striking Jefferson.
Okay, so we're going to back up here. See over here on top of like the air conditioner, those little dots that are moving. I don't know. It's jumpy. It's too jumpy. So that's like a reflection off a surface. I don't think that's it, but maybe this right here. That little line. There's one on the ground right here as well. Is that what you're looking at, Mac? That little dot in the middle of the screen? Because that could be a laser, but that I don't see that on his chest. Or MB, sorry. Comes around the corner. He's sort of in the way here. And he turns, you can see the light. And it's moving. And it's moving differently than he's moving, so it's moving without his light. I don't know. That wouldn't. There it is on the ground, right as it comes around the corner. I don't know. That wouldn't be enough to convince me. These could be bugs too, says MB. I don't know. It's definitely a light artifact of some kind. Interesting. Great. Thanks for letting me use my little toy again. So nothing from any of the sources here. It's 4:30, guys. To me, that doesn't really behave like a laser. Huh? It's very still. Well, it could be. I think it could be a laser. His partner did not have a laser, CG. She did not have any gun-mounted lights at all. CFW Carolina is on the way on live right now, on her way to the courthouse to pick up Manuel Mata. He's supposed to release shortly. Yeah, we're going to hear from him shortly, I'm sure. And I'm willing to bet that his recounting of the story is a little bit different than we heard from the defense and the judge. You're probably going to hear more about how he was treated. The fact that I think he felt they were very aggressive with him when they shouldn't be. He definitely felt that it was wrong for him to be questioned without his lawyer there, although I don't think that was really a guilt questioning. Although if the judge had asked him questions under oath, he could have at least pled the fifth, or maybe even shocked with a collar. Debbie likes to suffer in silence. Enhance. All right. So here's what we do. I'm going to set the ringer up, the alarm on my phone. It's 4:30 here. Alex Boyer, who is with Fox 4, just tweeted this a couple seconds ago. Says, now jury has been deliberating since 9:54 a.m. So far, they've asked to see body camera footage from the night of the fatal shooting and the Fort Worth Police Department's general orders. Latest on Fox 4 at 5 p.m. So they'll do a live stream at 5, which means typically their feed cuts off from the courtroom. So we're just waiting for something. Yeah, Samantha. If they go past Boone, if Boone's hearing is done and over, and they're still deliberating, we're in trouble. Verdict watch continues. Okay, it might be tonight. The judge might look at this and say, hey, we can go as late as we need to. Tag, I got a video from you. I have not watched it yet. I've got a bunch of videos and links that got sent, and some of them they said, don't watch this on the live stream. So I'll have to be careful what I play in the background. But I'll take a look at that. I think I did get that from you. Thank you. Isn't it 5:30 here? Yes, it is. But they're in Central Time, so it's 4:30 in Texas. But we're getting close to time they wrap up. They might have another hour in them before they'd have dinner, and the judge might just say, "Call it for the day. Head to the hotel." Katrina's rubbing it in, saying it's almost Friday for her. She's got one more day of work. A little Westie named Mila. She does grooming of pets and does a great job of it. So she's sending quite a few pictures. Let's see. I'm a former band member, retired now. Good times. Sweet and Sassy, when you say band member, we're talking like rock and roll band or marching band? I need to know. Inquiring minds want to know. What did he play? Joseph, I wish there was, but I don't think there is. I think once they reach the point where they're deliberating longer than the trial, we have an issue. But I don't think anyone wants to go that long. So your kids are trying to guess what the presents are, right? Tag, trying to ask questions. I was never good at keeping secrets. All right. I think we're going to wrap it for tonight. I will still come back on live as soon as they announce that there's a verdict. If needed, I'll record it on my nifty little device. We'll go back and play it back as live. But I think we're going to call it for today because I'm going to go take some more medicine so I don't sound like I'm talking with my nose plugged, and get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow's Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone has a hearing to see what the status is of her court case. It may affect whether or not she still has an attorney or the same attorney. But we'll see. Peace out, says Georgia. Thank you, Abby. Appreciate you. Hugs all around for everybody. You guys are the best subscribers on the internet. Shout out to JB up in Canada as well. For those that don't know, he called me last night. JB is one of my most avid fans. Fairly new to using the internet, and he's only able to watch on television right now, so he's not able to participate in chat. But he does call the burner phone, and last night he called, and I happened to come through, and I was able to talk to him for a while. And he wanted to say shout out to all of you, and just and say hello to all you fellow addicts, and that he absolutely loves it. He just eats this up. He loves this channel and watches it every time he can. His son helped him get set up with to subscribe to the channel, so he gets notified every time we go live, and it's just great. So shout out to all of you from JB as well. Night, folks. Take care, please. That's awesome. Please, when you go home tonight, give a hug to those people you love. Tell them you love them. Smile at somebody, make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe until either tonight, when we might have a verdict, or tomorrow morning, when we'll start again at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Getting ready for Sarah Boone tomorrow, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're hoping they live stream that. We've got our fingers crossed. Otherwise, we'll have to do some sleuthing to figure out what's going on. But we'll be there anyway. So we'll see you one way or another, and hopefully we'll have a verdict here for Aaron Dean in the meantime. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night.